into allegations of criminality in our criminal justice system. And what explosive day one it was.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
6:09. As always, of course, I'm with my colleagues. Amogelang Ramela is here. A very good morning to you.
Good morning, Bongs.
So yesterday we were all playing dressy and we decided to dress up, but also because on Wednesdays we have corporates that care, and most often we have some or other big CEO coming into the studio. And so we thought, shame, let's dress like we have real jobs, right? Because, I have been told that. You've never worked in corporate your entire life, somebody once said to me. You don't have a real job. Well, here we go. We do. And we can at least dress like it. And we put up a picture. It was you, Amo. It was Mateo.
Yes, it was Mbali and you, Bongani.
And Rafiwa. We were all dressed up, right? Mm-hmm. And my caption was exactly that we're all dressed like we've got real jobs. Mateo, guess who was the Beyonce of the picture?
Definitely. What do you call her? The velvet voice. What do you call her?
No.
No, shame. We love Mbali. Not this time. Amo stole the show in all the pictures.
Oh, yes. Even her poses, you could tell she was ready.
She had rehearsed it.
No way.
She got her kids. She said, Mama utla pose so. Mama will pose like this. You can check it out on our Instagram page, but we have lots of fun as the show. Of course, the big story yesterday was the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, which of course enters day 2 today. And it really started with some explosive stuff. And in case you missed it, or in case you want to hear it again, I want to remind you the chief evidence leader, Advocate Terry Mutau, addressing the commission yesterday as it started, explaining the process that is to unfold, and that essentially this is a truth-seeking commission. They want to establish what really happened, what really is at play. And I was keen to note that he has stuck to the timelines the president offered when he started this whole process. Have a listen.
The truthfulness of those allegations needs to be proven, understanding the limited time within which the president has allocated the commission to undertake its task. We are all aware that the task needs to be performed within a period of 6 months, and the urgency is one that all of us can appreciate. The criminal justice system continues to operate while the commission is ongoing, and the delays will not assist the restoration of that public confidence in those institutions. And it is for that reason that the work of the commission will be geared to producing a draft report within the first 3 months, as indicated in the terms of reference by the president, and hopefully to finalize the balance within the prescribed period, all things being equal.
So they're going to try and stick within those timelines as stipulated by the president when he first announced it. Have a listen then to the commission chair, the retired Constitutional Court Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga, outlining that if these things are indeed true that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi said, well, it's going to spell disaster for our criminal justice system.
The interest shown by the South African public in this investigation is not surprising. I say so because the allegations made by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi on 6 July 2025 concern a grave subject matter, the subject of the alleged infiltration of or exertion of undue influence on the criminal justice system. If the allegations are proved to be true, that spells doom for South Africa's criminal justice system.
Doom for South Africa's criminal justice system. Have a listen then to the man himself, the star witness, the first witness of this commission, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, speaking about political interference and corruption in our criminal justice system. And he says our system as a whole, as far as law enforcement is concerned, faces the possibility, the real risk of collapsing entirely.
It has been my aim that I want to demonstrate that the criminal justice system has been subject to a continuous threat as well as sabotage, which has been with us over an extended period, to a point where we believe it is at real risk of a total collapse if nothing is done. Therefore, an urgent and effective interventions are required in order to avert this outcome. And I believe this commission will stand to play a very important role in order to help us to prevent this total collapse of the justice system in our country.
Total collapse of the justice system. I mean, these are not words being underplayed here, right? He was telling it like it is. I don't know how much you watched. I don't know how much you saw. What were your impressions of day one of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry? Was there a moment that stood out, that sobered you, that shocked you? Was there a moment where you thought, gosh, I thought it was bad, but this bad? Let's talk about it. Mateo?
I think for me, it was the body language as well as the things that were happening around, the questioning of General Mkhwanazi. He came with his own water. You noticed things like that. He didn't take the water that was provided for him. But you kind of get he's a man that is quite experienced in answering questions like this. His posture's upright. He's not using ums and ahs. He
Hard
knows
not to believe
his
him.
story. And he's backing it up with point form, and somebody goes through something in point form. So far, so good, it seems for him.
Hard not to believe him, hey?
Yeah.
Hard
It
not to
really
believe
is.
him. Amo, your first impressions?
I think I was not necessarily shocked, but I was actually impressed by his background in education and how he went on to further his studies with the US and getting certificates with different educational systems to ensure that he is where he is today. So that it's not like a promotion, just a random promotion, because
He's not just a scope skeet and...
No. He worked hard for where he is. I was really impressed by that.
All right, your thoughts, 011-883-0702. We'll take your calls. Your WhatsApp voice notes on 072-702-1702. One of the startling things that he said was how he had, because people have criticized him by saying, you shouldn't have called that press conference, you should have gone through the proper channels. Yesterday, he was able to explain that I did. He said, I tried everything I could. I pressed the National Commissioner to get to the minister. I sent the minister messages. He agreed to a meeting that never happened. I asked the National Commissioner, get the president. And he said, I got so frustrated. I did something that was perhaps not regular. I reached out to the chair of the Portfolio Committee on Policing in Parliament, Ian Cameron. And I said, I've got to tell you what's going on. Somebody must do something about this. So guess who's our big interview after 7? Ian Cameron.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
17 after 6, as always, of course, a shout out, which is our way of illustrating something that we think is worth talking about that's in the news cycle. So I want to know from you, and I'll start with you, Mateo and Amo. Does your family know how to put on a show? So it's a wedding, it's a mgidi, it's a lobola negotiation, might even be a funeral. But your family gets together, everyone pulls together, and you put on a show that the neighbors go, wow. That even your enemies go, I shame. You know, those that come and see. Does your family know how to do that? And can you think of a gathering when you did? The one that everyone will always remember, that wedding, that msebenzi, that mqimbi, that gathering that everyone to this day is saying, yo, that wedding, the decor, the food, the venue, the music, the flowers. Mateo?
I think I stressed my parents out when I was getting married because I don't think they quite had an idea who I was on the streets, so to speak, and how many people actually knew me. So they prepared well for that wedding. Everybody pulled together. Everything went according to plan. But the sheer numbers of people that showed up, but the way they reacted to that also impressed me.
They kept it going.
Extra chairs that were ordered without me knowing. Things happened, and we handled it quite well. But after the wedding, my mom had to talking to me. He's like, what do you really do? What's happening with you?
I love the we, because he was just there smiling, relieved that Kiamo was still there. That's the only we
But that's the
that
only thing I
involved
should worry
him.
about, really.
He was just there beaming from ear to
I've
ear.
done
going,
my part. I've done
she's
my
here.
part.
She's here. Amo?
I think you're putting a lot of pressure as someone who pulls up great parties. You are the one person who really pulls up all stops to ensure that your events are top notch, from the moment you enter your house, or if it is that you're hosting it at a venue, to the moment you sit down with people. You're that person. But in my family, we've hosted tombstones unveiling, and it was for basically 3 people. It was a big event because it was for not just for the Ramilas, it was for the families, basically all the
relatives.
Yeah, so everyone had to be there. But it ended up looking like the decor was so good, it looked like a wedding. So when people bump into me at random places, they're like, oh, the wedding was so good. I'm like, no, it wasn't a wedding. It really wasn't.
Didn't invite you to that. All right, do let us know via voice note on 072 702 1702. Does your family know how to put on a show? And when was that damn it moment? You know what I mean by damn it, where everybody goes, wow, damn it, that was a show. Tell us if you have any such recent memory.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
21 after 6, Mateo, you've got an economics, business-related question?
I want to know this morning, are you comfortable with being the one dissenting voice? Just going the other way while everyone agrees with each other? And how do you deal with people that are just deliberately being difficult?
Ooh. It's kind of it's two sides of the same coin, isn't it? Because when I am the only dissenting voice, that's even more pressure to make sure I understand what I'm talking about and to figure out why it is everybody disagrees with me and what it is they don't see and whether I might be wrong.
So you introspect on
I
why you are
I
being...
do.
Okay.
Which is precisely why I get annoyed when somebody is being contrarian just for the sake of it. Right?
And
just
how
for
do
the
you
sense
deal
of
with
being
someone
different.
like that?
Because you know you're not going to change their mind. The whole point of engaging with people is leaving room for them to change your mind. And if somebody's mind is not going to be changed, what's the point? I don't even bother.
Tell you why I'm asking.
Coming up.
702.
Weather.
What conditions can you expect this Thursday? How is it Thursday already? Where did this week go? Joburg starting at lows of 10 degrees, peaking at 28. Johannesburg, Pretoria and Vereeniging is 17. It's 19 for Cape Town. For Durban, temperatures will peak at 24. East London, 20. Gqeberha, 19. Kimberley, 25.
EWN Traffic.
Quick traffic update. What are you seeing at this hour, Amo?
Well, Bongani, a major accident seen on the M1 North already. It's causing heavy traffic volumes coming out
Where's
of the...
this?
This is along the M1 North near Boysons, and it's causing delays coming out of the Uncle Charlie's interchange. So please, if you're traveling along this, we do expect about a 30-minute hold-up, and try to avoid if you can. If you're heading towards areas like Braamfontein, maybe try using the N1 North and then turning off at Main Reef Road. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for plumbers, electricians, and other tradesmen. Pumlani.
Switching to Outsurance was one of the best decisions that we've ever made. We needed business cover over 15 million. Outsurance came forth for us. At Kani, we sleep better at night, knowing that we always get something out of Outsurance.
Switch to Business Outsurance, and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
All cars are designed to move. A Mazda is crafted to move you. Every line, every detail, form in motion, beauty with purpose. So that when you drive, you connect. Car and driver become one. One rhythm. Builds, holds, breaks free. The feeling will find you. Mazda. Wonder awaits.
It's spring, SA, and here at DecoFern, we say it's time to say yes. Say yes to new friends. Yes to new adventures. Will you marry me?
Yes!
And definitely say yes to a few new things.
Welcome to DecoFern.
Say yes to awesome savings at the Decofern Furniture Spring Sale with up to 35% off on outdoor furniture and much more. In-store now or at decofernsa.co.za.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 In Brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
In team, let me tell you the general. I'll say buy the man a cigar. The truth shall set you free, is what they say. And I can't wait to the end of this inquiry because I think the Popa can dance. Have a good one.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Walking the talk, indeed. Things you need to know at this hour. I mean, you think, you know when I was saying fire the other day, my team thought I was being dramatic, but listen to this. So everything I told you was a lie, says Sitembiso Lawrence Mdlalose. This is the Usindiso fire guy who's accused of starting that fire. Remember, he confessed at a point to starting that fire that killed 77 people at the Usindiso building. And now he's changed his tune. He says he only admitted to doing so because he was tired of being homeless and he wanted, in fact, to be arrested so he could go to jail because he's seen people coming out of prison with degrees. On the one hand, you think this is the yappings of a madman. On the other, you think, gosh, what an indictment on our society that that's somebody's get not out of jail, into jail card, right? And then, more drama. Former Deputy President David Mabuza's daughter, Tamara Silinda, is challenging the 44.7 million rand pension payout that his father left behind. Left it to his wife, and she and her mother, who is now claiming to be Mabuza's common law or traditional wife, they say they want a share. I mean, quite apart from the family drama, how did David Mabuza amass 44 million rand? This is apart from the homes and the vehicles and other assets. It's just 44 million rand from his pension. Doesn't that tell you something? In the World View, Adam Gilchrist is going to give us what is happening in Syria. They're dealing with the worst agricultural crisis in decades, a severe drought leaving millions at risk. So they're fresh off an incredibly tough civil war, and now they're dealing with drought. In Limpopo, the education department has been ordered to pay a teacher, 1mm Rahwale, 50,000 rand for unfairly excluding her from consideration for a post as a principal despite being highly qualified. The ruling, of course, sends a strong message around unfair labor practices and the idea that only your friends are the ones who are going to get the job in the end. And Jada Corrin Pinkett Smith was born on this day in 1971, the American actress, entrepreneur, and television personality. She gained widespread recognition as the host of the Red Table Talk on Facebook Watch, a show that earned her a Daytime Emmy Award. She's also, in 2021 at least, was named as Time Magazine's one of 100 most influential people globally.
702.
The newspapers.
Bali Dlamini, a very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Aren't you impressed with me? I spoke about Jada Smith and didn't mention that other guy.
Oh, yeah. I was actually listening out to see Uguti.
No, I didn't.
I'm proud of you.
Bogodo.
Bogodo.
What's in the papers?
I think one of the big stories for today, the UN Security Council is expected to vote on another call and a motion for a ceasefire in Gaza and the allowing of humanitarian aid. And I think it comes at a very important time when, for the first time this week, the UN actually, declared and called what has been happening in Gaza a genocide. Everyone is looking to see whether or not the US will use its power to veto
They would never.
Yeah.
Not the US.
Not the US.
No.
But it's also very interesting, Bongani. I think a month or so ago, it was the first time that US President Donald Trump actually spoke about the situation, saying that he's seeing that children are hungry. He's seeing that whatever the case may be. But he has rejected these proposals before multiple times in the past. So we'll wait and see. Maybe the royals have sweetened his heart just a little bit.
I will tell you a little bit more about that visit as well. Both the Business Day and the Sowetan running this story of nearly 3.9 billion rand being wasted in the public service. This is money that's going to ghost employees, people who do not exist. No-show employees, family members added to the payroll system, duplicate personnel and salary profiles, salaries paid to minors, individuals drawing basic allowances from more than one department. And so now they're going to do a physical audit, which they must complete. Listen to this. This is them trying to do something about it. They must complete a physical audit and submit reports by February 28 next year. That's how urgently they're dealing with it. 3.9 billion rand in the public service. Incredible.
EWN Business.
Right, Muteo Kharipa wants to know, are you that lone dissenting voice? And what do you do with somebody who's just contrarian, who just wants to be different? Which one are you?
I can dissent, but if I see that I'm in the wrong and I get new information, I definitely change.
Because you're a journalist, right? That's how it works. What prompts the question?
Bongani, US Fed Chair Jerome Powell has finally cut interest rates in the world's largest economy. Rates there have been shaved by 25 basis points and now stand at between 4 and 4.25%. But what was most interesting was the voting split amongst governors yesterday. In the US, you have 12 officials that vote on interest rates. Yesterday's vote split 11-1. Now, there was one dissenting voice, Stephen Miran, the Trump pick that was sworn in as governor earlier this week. Now, Miran is one of President Donald Trump's top economic advisors. He's widely seen as a key architect of Trump's policy of using tariffs as a strategic tool for forcing other countries to open their markets to American exports and also to serve the United States geopolitical and national security interests. The 42-year-old has a PhD in economics from Harvard University and was the head of Trump's Council of Economic Advisors. Basically, he's been put there to try and push further.
So doesn't he want the interest rates to be cut?
He does. By 50
not enough
basis points. He wants the large cuts that Trump has been calling for. And Trump says, you know what, you guys are not listening to me. I'm going to get my own guy to get you to turn things around. So he's been put there to really pull the strings and make them actually cut deeper.
So where does that leave the rand?
17 Rand 42 ahead of our own interest rates announcement later this afternoon at 20 Rand 57 against the euro and 23 Rand 71 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $3,657 an ounce, or platinum is at $1,375. Brent crude at $67.89 a barrel. More business after 7.
Catch up with the latest eyewitness news. Mbali, Mam NG speaks.
That's correct, Bongani. A very good morning. Defence Minister Angie Motshekga says there are no grounds for the Defence Force Chief General Rudzani Maponya to face any disciplinary steps for remarks he made during a recent visit to Iran. Maponya's comments pledging government solidarity with that country and promising to deepen military ties made world headlines. Last month, the presidency said the trip was ill-advised, but answering questions in Parliament just yesterday, Motshekga said Maponya had travelled with her blessing. Lindsay Dentlinger takes a look.
Minister Angie Motshekga says the SANDF chief's trip to Tehran last month was a third attempt after she had approved the travel last year already. Amid calls from the DA that he face a court-martial, Motshekga has told Parliament his comments did not enter political terrain and was in line with government policy.
Even if it was said in France, it would not have created problems. It created problems because it was in Iran at the wrong time when they were, because of these geopolitical conflicts.
Motshekga believes an opinion piece on the same matter, penned by Defence Force spokesperson Rear Admiral Prince Shabalala, also did not cross a political line.
There was also no legal or even policy contradiction in what he had said, even in his personal capacity.
Motshekga says military attachés are stationed in all foreign missions to guide diplomatic interactions and no extra training for personnel is needed. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Let's take you to the courts now. The man who transported those who allegedly robbed President Cyril Ramaphosa's farm was allegedly paid $30,000 in cash. The driver, who cannot be named, testified in court yesterday that he drove accused number 1, Emanuela David, and 2 of his accomplices from Limpopo to Gauteng just a day after the robbery. The 3 are accused of breaking into the farm and making off with $580,000 in cash. They appeared in the Mudimule Regional Court yesterday. Thabiso Goba reports.
The driver testified in court yesterday. He was paid 7,000 rand after dropping off Emanuela David and his 2 friends at a car dealership in Gauteng. However, the state's prosecutor contradicted his own witness, saying this was not true. The prosecutor, Nketene Monyai, says a signed statement by the driver says he was paid $30,000 in cash. In his statement, the driver says he exchanged $10,000 for 145,000 rand with an owner of a car dealership in Benoni that he was introduced to by David. A few months later, the driver did a similar exchange with the owner. It's understood the last $10,000 were seized by the police in a sting operation to entrap the driver. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
To this now, retail sales showed a strong performance in July, registering 5.6% year-on-year, beating market expectations. This is up from a softer 1.7% in June, marking the 17th consecutive month of positive year-on-year growth. The strength in retail reflects improving household purchasing power as well as balance sheets. Deputy Director for Trade Statistics at Stats SA, Raquel Flores, says 5 of the 7 retail groups recorded a positive month.
Textiles and clothing increased by 10.0% and general dealers by 3.3% year-on-year. Together, both retail groups pushed overall growth up by 3.1 percentage points.
But FNB senior economist Pamandla Mkhwanazi says a weaker performance by food and beverage retailers as well as pharmaceuticals could signal consumer belt tightening.
If sustained, the weakness in food and beverages may point to underlying pressures in lower income segments where inflationary pressures are more pronounced. That said, the recently publicly announced above-inflation multi-year wage deals in various sectors of the economy should help mitigate these pressures.
And in the UK, government has welcomed a £150 billion investment commitment by the United States. The record-breaking package of US investment into the UK has been announced during US President Donald Trump's state visit. The UK government says it expects the commitment to create more than 7,600 high-quality jobs across the country. Today, major UK and US investors will meet with the Prime Minister as well as President Trump to discuss future collaborations. A fine Thursday in store for Gauteng today. Lows of between 4 and 10 degrees and highs of between 27 and 28.
Bumper-to-bumper traffic on the Makwa North between the Uncle Charlie's interchange and Car Street. This is due to a major accident right after Boyson's Road. Please be on the lookout there. About a 40-minute hold-up. If you are travelling on the N3 North, delays between the Elands interchange and Van Buren Road.
The top story in EWN, Defence Minister Enji Motshekga says there are no grounds for Defence Force Chief General Rozani Mapwanya to face any disciplinary steps for remarks he made during a recent visit to Iran.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
Hi, this is Julia De Bruin from Sandton. I like 702 because it's even-handed. Everybody and anybody can phone in, express their opinion, and everybody is treated with respect. So you get a good balanced view of everything, lots of information, lots of interesting things that you would never have otherwise known about. You can find out via 702. Whether you start listening at 5 a.m. if you can't sleep, or whether you're still awake at night at 10 to 12 with all.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
so we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
Sell your car now and get paid instantly. There's no waiting when it comes to We Buy Cars. Simply complete the online form on webuycars.co.za to get started. Looking for your next ride? Explore thousands of vehicles with finance and all the extras available online and in-store. Whether buying or selling, We Buy Cars has what you need.
What do partners of the Gates Foundation do when facing the world's toughest challenges? They keep going. From discovering a plastic drape that helps detect excessive postpartum bleeding faster, to developing better bed nets to kill malaria-carrying mosquitoes, to researching an RSV vaccine that could save hundreds of thousands of children. For every problem, there are people who prove that progress is possible. The Gates Foundation, partners of human potential. Learn more at gatesfoundation.org/keep going.
This is Jade. She'll spend hours comparing almond milk and once made a spreadsheet just for sneakers. But when she found Santam, SA's leading short-term insurer that offers a range of cover options, from vehicle to building and home contents, even she didn't overthink it. The kind of freedom Santam gives you takes some getting used to. Speak to your broker. Santam, this is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer and controlling company for its group companies.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning, Bongani. Talking about an outstanding event, there's a place in Sharkville, there's a house actually. Every event of that place, they call it Sfateng. I don't know their surname. Look, whether it's small mkiti or it's everything they do, I'm telling you, that's happening in Sharpeville, in the Val, Tabangi.
Yo, Bongani, I got 4 sisters there, and it doesn't matter how small the event is, wedding, church mkiti, whatever it is, birthday party. My sisters go all out. There's a wedding coming on the 22nd of November. Already, things are happening. My sisters just everything, they put together so well. Everything just goes on so smoothly, I can proudly say so. Big up to my sisters. Great show. Thank you.
Good morning, Bongs and the team. Oh, we're definitely that family. Kamanyane Mahlangu, Simon Mahlangu, and Celia Ngareng Mabusela. We know how to come together and make an event. My 21st was an amazing 21st. It was huge. It was like a wedding. Bodyguards and a huge tent, the decor. It was amazing. It's still it's a talk of the show till today, but we know how to come together and make something happen. Shoki here.
Morning, Jabongs. Morning, 702 listeners. Listen, when you talk about amavundle obayo khetho kwaca ocamsholo bakwa boy etsofimvaba kutomadambe jonga bongs qiniseka. That's all I'm gonna say, my brother. Jonga qiniseka. I don't care. It's a funeral, it's umgidi, it's a ceremony, whatever it is. Even a church gathering. Ubihlangene nathi. Jonga bongs qiniseka. Qiniseka, Brian.
We're asking you the question, does your family know how to put on a show? Why are we asking you all of this? Well, of course, there is that visit in the UK at the moment by the US President Donald Trump. And yesterday, it was his second state visit. And it's quite incredible, the show that the royal family put on for Donald Trump. Have a listen to Sky News reporter Mark Stone reflecting on that first day of Trump's second state visit to the UK.
Pomp, pageantry, but with a purpose. And I can tell you first up that the British government is very happy with how it went. And of course they are, because Donald Trump was bedazzled. He seemed genuinely moved at times as he walked round this historic castle, the king with him, the Prince of Wales, the Princess of Wales. It had everything that this president so enjoys. There was, of course, the banquet, the evening event that was kind of a who's who, but who's where as well. We were looking for where people were sitting, who was next to who. The king, of course, next to the president, flanked either side by the Princess of Wales and by the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. On the other side, the Queen Camilla, Next to her, it was the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. The tech bros as well, from business, technology, AI, because that is what all this is about. It's about trying to draw in, to flatter this unpredictable, unconventional, disruptive president, precisely because he is all those things.
Donald Trump enjoying the show at, of course, I suppose, being hosted by the royal family. The politics of it begins now. Does your family know how to put on a show? Let us know.
EWN Sport.
Cindy Paluta, let's talk about the Betway Premiership. One of the
Yeah.
things that I think is really going to be interesting is it's kind of open. I mean, I know it's still early stages, but it's already feeling to me like it's a little bit more open than we've seen, even in terms of the stage.
So this is obviously because Sundowns are not top and dominating.
They're not winning everything,
They're not winning everything. And even last night, after last night, they drew 1-1 with Maruma Gallant. Rayner scored the goal, and then it was Cupido, their own player, who deflected a shot into his own goal. So their own undoing almost, right? But like you say, it's only 6 games in. They failed to go top after last night. Amazulu beat Stellenbosch 2-1. They're up to 5th. Polokwane also 2-1 over Arrows. Richards Bay and TS Galaxy finished 1-1. Off the pitch, we still have no official word from Kaizer Chiefs on reports that they've parted ways with coach Nasruddin
Yes,
Nabi.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, SABC Sport claiming it's due to an issue with his CAF qualifications and coaching license. Other reports saying he needs to return home. In the Champions League, defending champions PSG opened with a 4-0 thumping of Atlanta. For Liverpool, it's the season of the last-minute win. They beat Atletico 3-2 thanks to a Van Dijk header in the 92nd minute. Chelsea got a brutal welcome to the Champions League. They lost to Bayern Munich 3-1. Kane scored twice. Chelsea's Cole Palmer feels they played well.
Yeah, we started well. I think we had early chances to score, but when you make mistakes at the highest level, then it's always difficult to come back in any game. Maybe there's a bit of lack of concentration and not managing the moments correct. I feel like we've shown that we can play against one of the best teams in the competition. Yeah, I think we deserve more, to be honest.
Inter beat Ajax 2-0. The early games both ended in draws for Olympiacos and Pafos, as well as Slavia Prague and Bodo Glimt. In the English League Cup, Nottingham Forest were knocked out by Swansea 3-2. At the World Athletics Champs today, Prudence Segodise and Shanae Duplessis compete in the 800 metres. Wade van Niekerk and Sinosipho Dambele in the 200-metre semi-finals. That starts at 2 p.m. Actually, yesterday I was watching this Dambele heat in the 200s, right? I was at the gym. I was running on the treadmill. Picture it. And I'm kind of like half paying attention, right, to what's going on the screen because I'm fighting for my life. And I'm sitting there and I see the South Africans got a red like line next to his name, and I'm like, oh no. And then the officials are all talking because I'd missed the initial start, and they were looking if he fell started, Dambele. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, I can't watch people foul start. This whole athletics champs, it is,
what's his name? Just the other day.
Kids, if you're listening, if you foul start at the World Athletics Champs, they disqualify you straight away. It's like the Olympics. You don't get, oh, Shane, go again. No, there's none of that. So anyway, they're looking at the footage and everything, and he foul started within a certain like millisecond of what's allowed. So then he was obviously allowed to then go and run. And then I just went, you forget you've got your AirPods in and whatever. And I shouted, yes! Everybody looked at me and I was like, sorry.
You didn't fall off the treadmill.
Didn't fall, surprisingly. The men's 400-meter final today is Akiti Nene competing at 3:10. And Springbok coach Rassie Erasmus made no changes to his 33-man squad. He didn't call up replacements for the last 2 games against Argentina in the Rugby Championship, despite Diaga and Fassi both missing through injury. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Good morning, Uncle Bongani. I am Luandile and I am 10 years old. I learn at Pretoria Institute of Learning and I am excited to be the Whiz Kid for today.
The Whiz Kid for today, where you walk away with 10,000 Rand.
EWN.
12 to 7, this Eyewitness News Traffic brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. So that crash on the M1, Amo, where are we now?
It's really a major one, Bongani. It's causing about a 40-minute hold-up coming out of the Uncle Charlie's interchange all the way towards Cost Street. Also, do remember that we usually have peak time delays along this route, and now this accident is making things a bit worse. So the delays, as I say, from Uncle Charlie's, about a 40-minute hold-up there. Please be on the lookout. There's also queuing traffic along the M2 West between Heidelberg Road and the Crown Interchange, peak time delays there. And as a result of this scene, people are now navigating towards routes like Boyson's Road as well as Xavier Street. As a result, they are heavily backed up, including Crownwood Road towards Main Riff Road. So please be on the lookout and drive with care. I'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a nervous but excited first-time driver waiting for the perfect gap to switch lanes. I can do this. The pressure. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's a sense of freedom and independence on the move. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Spar puts family first. From fresh fruit and veg to bakery treats warm from the oven, Spar gives you freshness, quality and care you can trust every day. Spar value-added services make life easier. Send money, buy bus tickets, recharge airtime, even pay your DSTV all in one stop without paying extra. Spar Mobile puts more savings in your family's pocket. So unlock unbeatable deals on data, voice and SMS, plus earn free data rewards every time you shop. Spar makes it simple. Pick your Spar mobile SIM at the customer service desk, pop it in, activate in-store or on WhatsApp. You're good to go. Keep your number or you can start afresh. The choice is yours. Spar, the informed choice.
You've reached in his Renault Duster en route to Dullstrom. This journey is taking to try a sport far more boring than its name might suggest. Fly. Fishing. He'll be in his Renault Duster, which he bought with 40,000 rand trade-in assistance.
Leave it all behind in the new Renault Duster with 40,000 Rand trade-in assistance. Offer exclusive to Renault Financial Services. Product of APSA. T's and C's apply.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
If you want to know about the heart and art of jazz, look no further than the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival, a grand ensemble of over 50 world-class acts across 4 stages for 3 whole days. That's right, from the 26th, 27th and 28th of September. The Sandton Convention Center will be demure and sophisticated as the fine Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2025 takes you deep into the heart, the art and splendor of jazz. Take me there. Book your seat via Ticketmaster now.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. Up to 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. So you first send us an answer based on something you heard on the show that piqued your interest, and for that we'll give you 1,000 Rand. WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. Then for 2,000 Rand, someone else will ask a question to get to your answer, you see. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Time now to give away some cash. Shall we? 10,000 Rand up for grabs. You must be aged 10 to 13 to play. $100 for each correct answer. And you walk away with 10,000 Rand if you can get all 10 in 60 seconds. Today we're playing with Wandile in Pretoria, who wants to be a pilot. Wandile, you want to fly with me?
Yes.
Let's fly. KG, start the clock. Spell the word royal.
Rail.
Royal.
R-A-I-L.
R-O-Y-A-L. Does the word constantly mean always or never?
Pass.
Always. In South Africa, what sport is organized by SAFA?
Pass.
Soccer. True or false? Bollywood is the name of Nigeria's movie industry.
Pass again.
It's false. Which is one of Snow White's 7 dwarfs? Banzai or Bashful?
Banzai.
It's Bashful. Give the prefix in the words mistake and misplace.
Pass.
Miss. Which one is an even number? 1 or 2?
2.
Correct. And that's all the time we have to play. One did a bit of a rough one there for you. You walk away with 1 correct answer. 100 Rand is what you win. You are still 10 years old, so you will have a chance perhaps to try again. Give it a couple of years. But Well done for the confidence to try at 10 years old. And I think we forget just how tough this competition can be for kids who are that young, because you did really well in the pre-competition round, the pre-on-air round. So don't beat yourself up too much about that. One day you'll play and you will fly.
Current events, developing stories,
Tough questions.
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
As you know, every second Thursday we chat to GroundUp, this non-profit news agency that tells community-driven stories. They rely solely on donations to deliver their in-depth journalism without ads or paywalls. You can always go to groundup.org.za for details to support them. Daniel Steyn is our regular guest on this feature. Daniel, a pleasure to have you on the show as always. Let's start with this Joburg landfill closure. Why are people upset?
Good morning, Bongani. Good to be with you again. So, Pick It Up, which runs domestic waste services in Joburg, has temporarily stopped accepting domestic waste at the Mary Louise dump, which means that about 140 waste reclaimers who relied on the landfill for a source of income are now out of work. This is one of the biggest dumps in the city. In 2023, it received almost a quarter of the city's waste. Pick It Up says it made the decision to stop accepting domestic waste as it's at this rubbish dump because rubbish dumps around the city are nearing the end of their life cycle, and they've closed operations here because they want to assess capacity and put in place plans to extend the site in the future.
That's really, really interesting. All right. We saw about 200 activists marching on the Constitutional Court this week. What was that about?
So on Tuesday, the Constitutional Court was hearing a case brought by communities on the Wild Coast against Shell and Impact Africa's plans for seismic blasting oil exploration. This follows several years of litigation. A High Court had previously set aside Shell's exploration rights, finding that they had not sufficiently consulted with communities, the government at least. But the Supreme Court of Appeal then ruled that this decision should be suspended so that Shell can reapply for its exploration rights for a third time. Now the Wild Coast communities have taken Shell to the Constitutional Court to set aside the Supreme Court of Appeal. They say that suspending this decision will perpetuate an illegality. 200 activists gathered outside the court on Tuesday to show support. People from the Wild Coast say that the seismic blasting threatens their livelihoods and that they depend on fish from the ocean, for example, which they say would be threatened by the seismic blasting.
I think one of the things they were saying was that they can't eat oil and gas.
Exactly, but they can eat fish.
It is, of course, also about long-term sustainability, and they want Shell to provide those alternatives. All right, perhaps the biggest story we're going to talk about today, Daniel, has to be this explosive letter. Firstly, is the person who penned it a board member of the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa? Because it is an anonymous letter. What are they saying?
So this is, as you say, it's an anonymous letter, apparently from a disgruntled PRASA board member, a current member of the board. We have not been able to verify that, but it's significant because this is the latest of at least 3 anonymous reports alleging fraud and corruption in PRASA's top management this year alone. And the Department of Transport has acknowledged that it's received the letter and it's preparing to give that letter to the Minister of Transport, Barbara Creasy. The writer of the letter claims that the tenders related to the upgrades at Benrose and Walmerton depots in Gauteng, as well as a tender for overhead signalling in the Western Cape, were corrupt. And he claims that tender corruption is rife within the PRASA board, and in fact, tenders that do not in some way interest or benefit the board will actually never be awarded. It's so deeply entrenched in PRASA's governance. So, as I said, we've not ourselves been able to verify the content or veracity of the report, but in July, the Hawks raided PRASA's headquarters in Braamfontein and seized laptops, cell phones and documents related to signalling equipment tenders amounting to 18 billion rand.
Gosh, I mean, this is what? Another whistleblower report this year, I think the third. Do we know what came out of those seizures in July?
Not yet.
So what does that mean then as far as the board being at the center of process struggles?
Well, if it is true that the board itself is central to corruption in PRASA, ongoing corruption, it means that what we thought was an era of renewal at PRASA, where we thought the governance would be cleaned up after years of corruption and really blatant corruption and theft by senior executives at PRASA, that perhaps it's not as cleaned up as we hoped it would be.
Has PRASA responded? I mean, anybody, I suppose, you could argue, could write an anonymous letter and make claims that are not verified, that are not backed up. What have they said?
So the PRASA spokesperson, Andiswa Makanda, simply said, when we asked questions specifically directed to the board, that the board could not respond because they were preparing to appear before Parliament.
And that was that. All right, Daniel Stale from GroundUp.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
Look back on the big day of the Madlanga Commission, the first day of hearings. The star witness, as we told you, would be the KZN Police Commissioner. One of the things he said to the Commission yesterday was how he had tried to get the attention of the minister, the attention of the president, and he felt that he was knocking on closed doors. And so what he did is he approached the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Policing in Parliament. And that was really the first time he felt his voice had been heard. Well, we're going to speak to Ian Cameron and get a sense of his responses, but also a private security expert about what all this means for our criminal justice system.
This is EWN.
Mkhwanazi to continue with his evidence at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, and we ask what really happened at the Usindiso building in 2023. Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi will continue giving evidence at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today. Yesterday, questions over who was behind the drafting of a letter to disband the Political Killings Task Team surfaced. Mkhwanazi kicked off his evidence at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria, where he suggested that Police Minister Senzo Mchunu was not the driving force behind the decision to disband the task team. Mchunu issued a letter to National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola in December requesting the task team be disbanded, and Mkhwanazi believes that decision was not Mchunu's alone. Oren Singh reports.
KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi alleges that during a conversation with Senzo Mchunu's Chief of Staff, Cedric Ngabinde, it became apparent that someone else was advising Mchunu to disband the Political Killings Task Team. He says at the time, Mchunu was in KZN, but Ngabinde was liaising between someone else in Gauteng and Mchunu around the contents of the disbandment letter issued on December 31st.
The correspondence will have gone to the Chief of Staff, who then directs it to the Minister. And perhaps the Minister will not be happy with some content and he will bring it back to the Chief of Staff, and the Chief of Staff will send it to the drafters. That's why the back and forth.
Mkhwanazi on several occasions said he found it odd and strange that Mchunu issued the disbandment instruction without consulting the National Commissioner or himself. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
Justice Minister Mamoloko Kubai says the televised broadcasting of court proceedings are having an unintended consequence of jeopardizing the safety of prosecutors. She says systems are being put in place to identify high-risk cases that could be putting court staff in danger. Responding to questions in the National Assembly yesterday, Kubai said the recent assassinations of prosecutors are a threat to the criminal justice system. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
Two Eastern Cape prosecutors, Ilona Sombolula and Tracy Brown, were killed this year, just 3 months apart. They make up the 5 prosecutors who have been killed in as many years. Minister Mamoloko Kubai says initially it was not thought that their killings were related to their work. It since emerged Brown's hit was arranged from prison. Kubai says the broadcast of court proceedings is increasing the risk to prosecutors.
One of the unintended results is that prosecutors' faces and identities are shown while the faces of accused persons are hidden or protected from public view.
Kubai says mechanisms to identify high-risk cases are being improved upon.
In many cases, it has been picked up early and prosecutors have been protected, provided with close protection and also surveillance and assessment of the cases that they are dealing with.
Kubai says the NPA is also exploring partnerships with international experts to improve security for its prosecutors. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Let's stay with court-related matters. The defence in the trial against the man accused of setting fire to the Usindiso building in the Joburg CBD has questioned why he continues to change his story. Alleged arsonist Thembiso Mdlalose once again altered his testimony yesterday during proceedings in the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court. He now claims he was not anywhere near the Usindiso building when the fire broke out 2 years ago, despite previously confessing to starting the blaze. The deadly inferno engulfed the 5-story hijacked building in August 2023, claiming 76 lives. Alpha Ramushwana was in court.
Just last week, Thembiso Mdlalose told the court that he was inside the Usindiso building when the fire broke out, but insisted he didn't start the blaze. Yesterday, Mdlalose, however, gave a different account, claiming he was sleeping under a bridge when the building caught fire. Prosecutor Taimi Mpekane asked Mdlalose if he realizes that by constantly changing his version of events, he's affecting his own case.
Remember, the reason that you are testifying, you must try and convince the court that to believe you, to take your version as the truth.
Mdlalose stormed out of the courtroom when the prosecutor questioned him about his contradictory statements. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News in Palm Ridge.
To this now, Joburg Mayor Dada Morero and the city's water utility are set to return to frustrated communities in the west of Johannesburg today to give an update of water restoration efforts. This will mark the second visit to that area since residents staged protests over ongoing water interruptions. Jabuli Lembata has more.
Last week, Joburg Water announced that it would cut water supply in other areas to bring up the water levels in Westbury and surrounding areas. The entity explained that they were in the situation because their infrastructure is old, they grapple with leaks, and there are many communities that are connected illegally. They placed 21 water tankers in the area while building up water levels in reservoirs. This is while 800 million rand will be put by the city of Joburg towards the main water system to work on repairs and pipe replacement, which will happen over time. Residents have threatened protest actions should the water woes persist. Jabuli Limbata, Eyewitness News.
And the United Nations Security Council is set to vote on the latest call for a ceasefire in Gaza today. The vote is also expected to cover a call for increased humanitarian access to Gaza. These are both calls supported by a majority of Security Council members, despite repeated U.S. vetoes. The United States has already rejected proposed approaches multiple times, most recently in June when it used a veto to back its ally Israel. For the first time on Tuesday, a UN-mandated international commission accused Israel of committing genocide in Gaza. Gold is trading at $3,658.09 an ounce. The rand is at 17.43 to the dollar, 23.72 to the pound, 20.58 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $68.47 a barrel.
And in the traffic in Waterfall, there's been an accident on the N1 South near the Baklu interchange. Delays coming out of New Road. There's also queuing traffic on the N12 West between Snake Road and Jet Park Road, while travelling on the N1 North bumper-to-bumper traffic between Malibongwe Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive.
And in your sport, Liverpool rescued again by a late goal in the Champions League. There was also a victory for Inter, Bayern Munich and the defending champions PSG. Sundowns failed to go top of the Premiership table. Stellenbosch's shocking start to the season continues. And Zakiti Nene going for gold in the men's 400-metre final at the World Athletics Champs. That's at 3:10 this afternoon.
A fine Thursday in store for Gauteng today. Lows of between 4 and 10 degrees and highs of between 27 and 28. The top story in EWN this hour. KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi will continue giving evidence at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 7 o'clock, it is the big story of the day, the week certainly. And I was encouraged to hear evidence leader advocate Terry Mudau addressing the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry as it started yesterday, that they will do as much as they can to stick to the timelines allocated by the president when he first announced the commission, stressing, of course, the urgency of the matter. But we are talking very serious issues here. The retired Constitutional Court Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga, who chairs the commission, at pains to explain that at the core of their inquiry is to really find out if we have a healthy criminal justice system, because if we don't, there's no way to uphold the law.
A healthy criminal justice system is key to the rule of law and in turn to a functioning constitutional democracy. With a criminal justice system that is populated by malleable and corrupt functionaries, many criminals, especially those holding positions of influence, will rarely, if ever, answer for their criminal deeds. Also, malleability, corruption, and dysfunctionality in the criminal justice system are at odds with what we South Africans expect of and are entitled to from a criminal justice system.
Well, yesterday, of course, we heard from the star witness, General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, who essentially said at the center of his assertions is that the criminal justice system in South Africa is at a real risk of collapse. And he says he's been trying to sound the alarm for some time now. He didn't just wake up one day and decide to call a press conference. In fact, even before he went to Parliament, he tried to raise the alarm internally within the structures that were available to him. And he says it was all to no avail.
I personally reached out to the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee as an oversight body to the police work, because I realize it looks like every door I'm knocking, nothing is happening. National Commissioner, please speak to the minister, it's not happening. National Commissioner, check with the president, I'm not getting a feedback. And the next body that I must engage is an oversight body, which is Parliament. I then contacted the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Honorable Cameron, myself. I requested him to invite me to the Portfolio Committee. Ordinarily, I was not supposed to be part of the Portfolio Committee. But through my request, he invited me.
So we've got the chair of that commission, of that Portfolio Committee, I beg your pardon, not the commission. Hold your horses. We've got the chair of the Portfolio Committee that, of course, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi approached when he felt he was getting no joy through the regular channels. The Business Day really saying that he painted a bleak picture of delayed justice, did Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. And also the issue of Senzo Mchunu. You remember him, of course. He was the police minister, or he still is the police minister, but suspended. And the issue of those 121 dockets that were withdrawn, they were taken from the team sometime in May and then given back to the team in August. And within a week of those dockets being transferred back to KZN, the task team had made arrests of murder accused in key cases. And so the idea then that they were providing no value is what Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi was questioning. And if you were busy with all of that and perhaps missed it, there was yet another matter that we want to bring to your attention. You remember, of course, the Usindiso building fire. Well, the man accused of setting it alight in the Johannesburg CBD stormed out of court yesterday. This was during cross-examination without the judge's permission. This is Sthembiso Mdlalose, who initially, by the way, admitted to starting that fire in August 2023. This was the blaze that killed 76 people. He now says his initial admission and confession were all untrue.
Want me to continue? Want us to waste time with something that I just said it doesn't lie? Now the truth is, I made this illusion so that I can get arrested because I wanted to run away and escape being on the street, being shelterless. I thought prison would give me a second chance. As I've seen people going into prison, they come back, they've got education, they've got degrees. So that's one thing that I had on my mind. So now you want us to sit here, me and you, cross-examine. That's why it's turning into a kind of a debate, because you want to go back and talk. This is just a lie. What I said to you yesterday, last week, it was just a lie. Smanga Pengu Zulu boy and everything, that is just a lie. Now, impose a question based on what I said, the arrest. So now ask me a question based on that.
Can you give me a chance to ask?
I think I've given you enough time.
Can you give me a chance to ask?
I think I've given you enough time. Can I choose you from some notes, please?
And he walked away. He just walked away. What an extraordinary thing to say. As a homeless person, he thought he would lie about it so that he could go to prison because he's seen people in prison coming out with degrees. So forget a get out of jail card. He wanted a get into jail card.
702. Up next.
The big interview.
EWN.
It's a quarter after 7. This Eyewitness News traffic report is brought to you by South African Airways. This season, South African Airways has added more flights to Lagos, Accra and Sao Paulo. Book your seat today at flysaa.com. Amo?
Well, Bongani, I'm being told by some delays in the Kempton Park area along Beg River Drive. If you are traveling along this route and you can see exactly what's causing these delays, please do let us know on exit EWN traffic. Otherwise, on the N1 South in the Waterfall area, an accident near the Baklu interchange, delays from New Road. There's also bumper-to-bumper traffic along the Mike 1 North between Boysons Road and Empire Road. That accident has been cleared, but traffic remains heavily backed up along the route. I'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
From 4 November, South African Airways launches double daily flights between Johannesburg and Gaborone. Premium service, convenient timings, and the reliability you deserve. Open for booking. Book now at flysaa.com.
You've reached in his Renault Duster en route to Dullstroom. This journey is taking to try a sport far more boring than its name might suggest. Fly fishing. He'll be in his Renault Duster, which he bought with 40,000 Rand trade-in assistance.
Leave it all behind in the new Renault Duster. With 40,000 Rand trade-in assistance. Offer exclusive to Renault Financial Services. Product of ABSA. T's and C's apply.
It is said that listening to Mozart could boost intelligence. So we at RMB bought this extended radio spot to give you 30 seconds of Mozart just to get some thinking done. That was nice, huh? Just some time to think. Well, that is precisely what we do at RMB. Invest in the time to think of smarter solutions for our clients. RMB. Solutionists love company. RMB is a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSB and registered credit provider.
At Premier Hotels and Resorts, business travelers staying alone enjoy a complimentary drink every night of their stay. So, whatever your tipple, it's on the house at any of our 24 hotels and resorts nationwide. Book today at premierhotels.co.za.
702 and Corporates That Care with Netcare are talking about Netcare's My Walk Made with Soul initiative.
This was an initiative that began in 2015, and a lady by the name of Delani Bezadenhout visited us and said, look, I hear Netcare is very involved in sustainability initiatives. Would you be interested in recycling your intravenous drip bags because they're made of a toxic material called PVC? And in passing, she said to me, you know, possibly we could also make shoes. My appeal is that we've handed out 328,000 pairs of shoes. And so my appeal is for South Africans to get get together and come onto our website, mywalk.org.za, and donate the cost of a cappuccino. Maybe you can donate 10 shoes.
Netcare, helping future leaders step into greatness. Visit mywalk.org.za to learn more. 7:02. Let's walk the talk.
7:02.
The big interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
19 minutes after 7. Of course, the big story at the moment is the revelations that came out of day one of the Madlanga Commission. One of the criticisms that have been leveled against the KZN Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Madlanga Mkhwanazi, was not going through the normal protocols to raise the alarm about his concerns. And yesterday, he made quite clear that that's exactly what he had tried to do. He had tried via the National Commissioner to get to Minister Senzo Mchunu. He tried via the National Commissioner to get to the President. He texted the Minister himself, who agreed to setting up a meeting, and that never happened. And it was for that reason that, perhaps a little against protocol, he approached Ian Cameron, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Policing, to say, we are in trouble. So we've invited Ian Cameron, but also Chad Thomas, who is a crime expert with IRS Forensic Investigations, who himself, of course, will understand exactly what's at stake here. So I'm going to ask you two gentlemen to weigh in on your initial sense of what you heard on day one of that commission. Ian, I'll start with you. Thank you so much for your time. Welcome to our program once more. What were your thoughts of day one?
Thanks, Bongani. Morning, Chad, as well. Bongani, it was a foundation laying process yesterday, so I think it's a slow start, which is totally normal. But there was a little bit more detail than what we heard in previous parts of what General Mkhwanazi had said during his press briefing. And I think today is going to dive much, much deeper. So yesterday was a foundation-laying process. I think we are off to a start. I heard one analyst saying yesterday that a lot of people would have slept badly last night. I tend to agree. I think that many people are very nervous about what may or may not come out, and we will have to see what the day holds.
Chad, your initial reflections to what you heard yesterday. I don't know how much of it you did hear, but of course, as somebody working in this space and having a different eye, what did you hear that surprised you, or was it all more or less what you'd expect?
Firstly, kudos to the general. He was very cool, calm, and collected. And we're going to see, I think, a continuation of this over the next days. He's come prepared. He was prepared already January of this year when he first started to speak about this, March when he approached Parliament, of course, the July 6th press conference. And I think this is a very important reckoning. There's been a lot of negativity around it being a commission of inquiry. People wanted to see more decisive action taken, like the arrests of the people that he had pointed out. And of course, that's not possible. We've seen arrests in the past of high-profile police individuals. We could talk about Richard Mbluli. We could talk about other policemen implicated in other issues, whether it was Becky Clearly when he was commissioner, whether it was Ria Piege with Marikana, whether it was Jackie Celebi. But the fact remains is having high-profile arrests and court cases hasn't resolved the issue of the factionalism that has caused the fractured leadership within the police over the last 25 years since the very first political appointment of Jackie Celebi. And I think that this has become a reckoning. And in my opinion, it's become something of a nation-building exercise because the police are so important for maintaining law and order that we can now see that this commission of inquiry will lead to an overhaul which is long, long overdue within the South African Police Service.
Ian, I'll come back to you. As Chad has just pointed out, we've seen former top cops being embroiled in all sorts of allegations previously, but what was particularly explosive was the fact that Madlanga Mkhwanazi took this all the way to the top, fingering Senzo Mchunu directly as being compromised.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it made we invited them, as you know already, to the committee after General Mkhwanazi called me. The first invitation was actually from January. It started when he said that there was a smearing campaign with him or towards him during National Police Day in January. But nevertheless, so when we invited them, what worried me the most was the fact that the National Commissioner didn't intervene in any way. We created this platform where everyone was around the table, figuratively speaking, and he made some of the allegations, not quite in the detail that we saw in July, and certainly not from what we heard yesterday. But he made some of the allegations, and it was strange to see that there was no real confrontation. The minister simply denied, and the National Commissioner stayed quiet.
Ian, did Parliament take Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi seriously when he first approached you?
Well, of course. Otherwise, I wouldn't have invited him. I mean, we had the entire committee there. We had the entire South African Police Service management, as well as the head of the political killing task team, General Kumalo, who's also the Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence. So, I mean, we had 2 sessions where this was discussed. Very uncomfortable meeting. So certainly.
Where does this leave Senzo Mchunu? Now, I know, as you said, it's early days yet. This is just the start. But where does this leave Senzo Mchunu already?
I think at the moment he's out in the cold. I think it makes it extremely uncomfortable, especially if you have to try and restore your name in any way. Unfortunately, he didn't do well with regard to the post-press briefing communication either. And also you would know that from Parliament side, certain MPs laid criminal charges against him for misleading Parliament or lying in Parliament regarding Brown Mokgotsi, and also laid ethics complaints against him for lying in Parliament. So it's going to be a very difficult road to recovery, if at all.
Chad, you look at this from a different perspective. I mean, would it be fair to say, in a sense, you're partly in business because of the gaps that exist within the established law enforcement system?
Definitely. When we started IRS Forensic Investigations 25 years ago, it was because there was a need for complex financial crime investigators that understood the jargon of different industries, be it mining, insurance, banking, etc. You couldn't expect the police to have an overall understanding of that. Case law permitted for private investigations to take place. We had State v. Botha in 1995, we had State v. Dube 2000, and of course we were legislated in terms of Act 56 of 2001, where we had to be registered and vetted with CIRA. But we were concentrating on areas where the police may not necessarily have the same experience. We would then package a docket, give it to the police, assist the police. The police would then take it to the prosecutors who become prosecutorial guarded. Now you've got investigators in my space investigating murder for hire, investigating kidnap for ransom. These are crimes that should not be getting investigated by organizations such as myself. These are crimes that the state should be taking care of. So yes, there has been a hollowing out of the police, but we must always remember we had a successful election last year that led to a GNU, and we're in an election cycle leading up to the local elections. If we were a failed state, if the capture of the states had been such that our police had been totally decimated, we wouldn't be in this position. It means that there's still strong elements within the police that are still fighting for justice, as well as within the entire criminal justice cluster.
But I could also argue, it also seems that there are strong enough elements of syndicate capture of elements of the police to the degree that they get away with these things.
But are they going to get away for much longer? Brown Mokgotsi under investigation. Yesterday, Vusi Katpatlala, bail denied. 2 weeks ago, Katie Molefe, bail denied. Both of them in court today to consolidate their cases. We've finally seen top-tier leadership where the relationship between political bad actors and underworld bad actors are being exposed. So this reckoning has had multiple knock-on effects within the safety and security cluster. And I think this reckoning is so important. And kudos to that July 6th press conference, and kudos to a general becoming a whistleblower. To those that don't call him a whistleblower and call him a maverick or somebody who didn't follow protocol, well, damn them. This man has done something that was long, long overdue.
It's a seminal moment, is it not? Appreciate both of you, Ian Cameron, MP, and of course the chair of the Portfolio Committee, and Chad Thomas, crime expert from IRS Forensic Investigations.
EWN Traffic.
28 after 7, this Eyewitness News traffic brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702 Amo.
Bongani, in the city of Tshwane, we've got heavy traffic volumes along the intersection of Main Road and Nelmapius Drive. This is due to faulty traffic lights along this intersection, so please be on the lookout there. And there's peak time delays reported on the N1 South approaching the Flying Saucer interchange. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You are the poster child, the biggest saver we've ever had.
I decided that I would contact Outsurance and let them work out what they could do for me.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, big saving. 2,794 Rand a month.
That's over 33,000 Rand a year.
And it was the easiest switch ever. Real people helping real people get real deals.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
EWN Business.
All right, let's talk inflation numbers. Muteo Kharipe, Vumanibo. Vumanibo. The SARB has a lot to think about. Will they Vuma?
We don't know. Stetsa says the measured price rate of goods and services came in lower in August. Our consumer prices were at an annual 3.3% last month, down from 3.5% in July. Now, the lower food prices contributed to the decrease in headline inflation. Lower fuel prices as well are also helping to ease the overall inflation rate. Now, this data print came a day before the Reserve Bank's Monetary Policy Committee's interest rate decision. That decision coming at around 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's expected that the lower inflation rate, dropping price forecasts, and U.S. interest rate cuts that we saw yesterday could persuade the SARB to shave interest rates by at least 25 basis points. Some analysts, though, saying they expect the SARB to hold rates.
Do we have a Trump guy in there?
No.
Let's get a Trump guy in there.
No one pulling strings.
Momentum, gaining some momentum.
Yeah, really doing well over the past reporting period. The group delivered sterling numbers with profits at 6.2 billion Rand, up 41%, while operating profit surged by 52% to 5.4 billion. Strong numbers from the likes of Momentum Investments, Metropolitan Life, and Momentum Corporate, helping them lift their earnings.
Where's the Rand?
17 Rand 46 against the US dollar, really weakening this morning at 20 Rand 59 cents against the euro, and 23 Rand 76 cents against the British pound. Price of gold flat this morning, $3,652 an ounce, while platinum is in the green at $1,370. Brent crude at $67.68 a barrel. I'll bring you more business after 8.
Straight to the news desk we go. Mbali Dlamini, now I know why we couldn't get Gareth Newham as an interview this morning.
Well, Bongani, the security expert Gareth Newham may just be busy. He's just been roped in to assist with policing matters in the country. Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia has appointed Newham as his special advisor. Kachalia made the announcement in Parliament yesterday while answering questions as part of the Peace and Security Cluster. He told Parliament that he also will not be removing any officials who worked under suspended Minister Senzo Mchunu. Kachalia says Newham, the head of Justice and Violence Prevention at the Institute for Security Studies, has the right expertise.
I have made one appointment, as I'm entitled to do, of Mr. Gareth Newham, or it's in the process of being implemented, who is one of the most, in my judgment, one of the most expert policy analysts of policing and safety and security.
To the Western Cape now, where Cape Town's warring taxi associations could lose their memberships or even operating licenses should violence linked to their dispute persist. Today is day 2 of a 30-day shutdown of taxi routes between Khayelitsha and Mfuleni to Somerset West, Lwandle and Nomzamo. These measures were implemented to quell recent deadly violence, which has left at least 10 operators and commuters killed. The attacks are linked to a conflict between Kata and Kudeta over the specific specified routes. Ntutuzelo Nene has more.
The taxi route closures were announced by Western Cape Mobility MEC Isaac Seleku last week Friday, following the killing of Carter's deputy chairperson in Browns Farm. Seleku says tough action will be taken against any association found to be positively linked to the violence.
From a side of the Constitution, the Code of Conduct of Operators, we can also act from our side. We can deregister an association, we can suspend your license, or we can terminate your license. If there is proof of such, then we definitely will do that. We not even hesitate.
He's urged rival taxi association to return to the negotiating table and resolve their differences peacefully. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News in Cape Town.
In the courts now, the alleged mastermind behind the Lusikisiki massacre, Mzugisi Ndamase, has now accused the key state witness, Lwando Abi, of murder. Ndamase is representing himself in court and he cross-examined the witness yesterday at the Mthatha High Court, which is sitting in Lusikisiki. He has implicated the witness in an August 2024 shooting where Mncedisi Gijana, an alleged drug dealer, was killed. Ntanta Mabaso reports.
There have been twists and turns in the Lusikisiki mass murder case, particularly on the murder of Mncedisi Gijana. Gijana allegedly sold drugs in the area but was killed weeks before the Lusikisiki massacre. Police have since charged Ndamase and co-accused for Gijana's murder. But during cross-examination yesterday, Ndamase told the court he will argue that state witness Lwando Abi planned and executed the murder for a drug turf. Meanwhile, Abi testified that Ndamase was the one who ordered the hit on Gijana to make way for him to sell drugs in the KwaBhaca area. But Ndamase says the witness was sent by a Western Cape 28 gang to sell drugs in parts of the Eastern Cape to expand their territory. The matter returns to court today. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Lusikisiki in the Eastern Cape.
And dozens of Sudanese refugees have been killed or are still missing after two boat disasters off the coast of Libya. The International Organization for Migration says one of the boats capsized on Saturday, while the second caught fire on Sunday. The first boat was carrying 74 people and only 13 have been found alive by search and rescue workers. At least 50 people are believed to have died in the vessel which caught fire. Libya is a key transit country for thousands of migrants who are seeking to reach Europe by sea each year. A fine Thursday in store for Gauteng today, temperatures peaking at highs of between 27 and 28 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got a major accident scene reported in Bedford View along Van Buren Road. So if you were thinking of using this turn-off to try and avoid traffic on the N3 South, well, you've got trouble coming up. It's heavily backed up due to that scene. And if you are traveling on the N12 as well as the R24 West, bumper-to-bumper traffic between Edenville Road and the Kilulis interchange.
The top story in EWN, security expert Gareth Newham has been roped in to assist with policing matters in the country.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
The day we have all been waiting for has finally arrived. The Madlanga Commission into corruption and political interference in the criminal justice system begins. When you look at phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, looks like this thing is going to take quite some...
This is not a 6 months piece of work.
It's not.
It was never designed to be a 6 months piece of work. And I think when the president gave timelines, it was partly because of the political pressure he gave himself of not excusing Minister Senzo Mchunu from his job entirely and then give enough space.
Lukhona Mguni, political analyst.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Does your wallet need a break? Then an OutSurance quote is just what you need. Get a quote, and if OutSurance can't beat your car insurance premium, ask for 500 Rand in cash. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you always get something out. Get a quick and easy quote today. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. A licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
From the sands of our land, it all begins. A journey that turns raw potential into something extraordinary. Our strength isn't just in what we create, it's in the lives we transform along the way. Our craft, our heritage, in our hands. Asante Glass. Excellence in class.
One festival, endless flavor, and 2 unforgettable days of timeless music. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, returns on 20 and 21 September at Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. On Saturday, the stage erupts with Don Toliver, Questa, and Nkabi Zezwe. Then on Sunday, experience the legendary Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, Lyra, and more. The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lotto Star. Tickets at Ticketmaster.
Did you know the biggest environmental health risk of our time is air pollution? So today, the Gauteng Department of Environment, together with the city of Tshwane, commemorates or observes the International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies. Catch the Clement Manyatela show live from the JNF Walter Sisulu Environmental Center in Mamelodi, bringing you all the highlights and live updates under the theme Racing for Air. The day raises awareness on air quality issues and inspires sustainable action for a healthier Gauteng. Don't miss it on 702.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bongani. Listening to Ian Cameron, one wonders if the president still feels he made a right call by just putting the minister on special leave. I think with all that's been said, what we've had yesterday from Mkhwanazi and the number of escalations he's tried and everything that he's done, honestly, I think the president is just engaged in wasteful expenditure now by just putting the ground leave. He needs to fire the man and just move on.
Good morning, Bongani. If you ask me as an ordinary South African what I heard yesterday, it is someone that is so clear and in his heart of hearts to do the right thing for himself and for the generations to come on his watch. And it really makes me sad that the powers that be have impunity to just go rogue with the impact that they have on us and the country and the generations to come. That makes me very sad. So the general, I salute him for that. I want to thank him for that.
Morning, Bongani. For me, yesterday I was impressed, as Amo was saying, I was impressed by his qualifications. The man is very experienced. The man has studied a lot, and he went overseas to further his education. So he's a proper qualified person. But then what shocked me was when he said that he was investigating people that were, say, senior politicians. And then he ended up staying at home for the whole year without a job. With all those qualifications, he stayed at home without a job for the whole year. Just showing how messed up the system can be. Yeah.
Morning, Bongani and the 702 team. Solomzi at Dobsonville. In Tantlam Kwenazi, we believe. I mean, there's a guy, there's a leader. We're searching for leaders within our government and hardly any to find. There's a leader. We have a leader in that man. He understands policing. I think Ramaphosa should have taken the right decision by expelling, what's his name, that Minister of Police, Mkhunu Senzo, and appoint Mkhwanazi as a minister. He understands policing. He's done all the necessary training, combat training, policing with different institutions. We've got a leader in that man. We must look after him and treasure him. Cheers.
Well, I don't know if you want him as minister. The minister's not or shouldn't be involved in operational issues. The minister sets policy, right? You want him to be national commissioner. You know what I was thinking? At a point, our electoral system doesn't allow us to vote for an individual. That's why it was silly when parties would say their presidential candidate is so-and-so. That's silly. Our system allows us to vote for parties who then choose, who they want to put forward as a potential president. But you know what? If we could elect people directly, right, like they do in some countries, guess who most South Africans would be voting for president at the moment without batting an eyelid? Now, as far as the president taking action against, anybody who errs, think of the defense that has now come out. Minister of Defense, Angie Motshekga, defending the SANDF, who went to Iran and said those controversial comments outside of his purview, outside of his mandate. And now we're being told there'll be no disciplinary action taken against him. I don't know if you remember what Prince Mashele told us last week when we had him on the political desk, making all sorts of assertions around why the general has been allowed to get away with his explosive remarks. Who gets disciplined at the top levels in South Africa, right? You can yell at councillors, but at the top, discipline for who?
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance. Your chance to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. That's what's up for grabs. So firstly, 1,000 Rand for an answer, then 2,000 Rand for a question. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. Let's go to Nomalanga. Nomalanga o Sekatlehong, I'm told. You're in Katlehong. What's today's answer, please?
Morning, Bongani. Today's answer is the red table talk.
Oh, that's a good one. And tell me, Nomalanga, have you received a quote from Outsurance?
I have, and I'm a member.
You are a member, never mind just a quote. Well, Nomalanga, you biscuit. 1,000 Rand is coming your way. All thanks to Outsurance and 702. Red Table Talk is the answer. What's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
I was 2 years old, Cindy Paluta, when I found out that Liverpool fans are called, what is it? Liverpudlians.
Liverpudlians.
Liverpudlians. I heard from Africa Milane today. I know something I didn't before.
Yeah, Liverpudlian.
Liverpudlians.
Yeah, it does. I agree with you. It does sound like they're little frogs in a puddle.
Oh, wow.
I know that's where you
You're
were
going to
going.
walk alone. No, you are walking that one alone.
Well, I'll be swimming alone in my little puddle. Liverpool once again scoring in added time for a win, this time in the Champions League. Van Dijk's header in the 92nd minute for a 3-2 win over Atletico Madrid. Boss Arne Slot.
Now, if you want to beat a team like Atletico, which is known and has an unbelievable mentality, you have to beat them with their weapon as well, and that is mentality. And I think that's what we showed again today. But I think we should have made it easier for ourselves. At 2-0 first half, we got more than a few chances to make the third. At 2-1 second half, we hit the post. We were so close a few times.
PSG started their title defence thrashing Atlanta 4-0. Inter beat Ajax 2-0. Chelsea lost to Bayern Munich 3-1. Kane with 2 goals. Selected fixtures tonight. Man City host Napoli. Barcelona away at Newcastle. Sundowns finished 1-0 with Maruma Gallant. Reina scored the open and Gallant's goal was a Cupido own goal. Stellenbosch finished 3rd last season but are struggling to get going. Last night's 2-1 loss to Amazulu is their 4th loss in 6 games. Polokwane beat Arrows 2-1. Richards Bay missed a late penalty, finishing 1-1 with TS Galaxy. Off the pitch, still no official word from Kaizer Chiefs on report they parted ways with coach Nazruddin Nabi. SABC Sport claiming it's due to an issue with his CAF qualifications and coaching license. Team South Africa still hasn't won a medal at the World Athletics Champs. Today, Sakiti Nene will be hoping to change that. He's competing the 400-meter final just after 3 p.m. Also today, Prudence Segodise and Shanae Duplessis compete in the 800-meter heats. Wade van Niekerk and Sinasipo Dambile in the 200-meter semi-finals. That starts at 2 p.m. And the Springboks won't have Lut de Jager and Apalele Fassi for the last 2 rugby championship games with Argentina, but coach Rassi hasn't named replacements for them. He's also left out Willie Leroux. Bonabi returns to the squad after missing the New Zealand leg for personal reasons. Mapimpi and de Klerk, who were late additions, remain with the team as well. Also, the Springboks moving back top of the world rankings ahead of Ireland, with the All Blacks now 3rd. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Insurance pulls you in. Pineapple pulls you under. Insurance. Pineapple. Insurance. Pineapple.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Did you know that the CSIR International Convention Center has over 40 years' experience in hosting international, local, and national business events? It's located on a tranquil campus in Pretoria East within the Knowledge Hub and Science Diplomacy capital, the city of Tshwane. It's a fit-for-purpose convention center, ideal for your association, congress, or other business events. For more information, visit csiricc.co.za, the CSIR International Convention Center, where smart minds meet.
EWN Traffic.
12 to 8, the CWN Traffic is brought to you by the new Opel Grandland. With smart tech and striking design, it's German engineering on a grand scale. Test drive one today at your nearest Opel dealer. Now, Midrand is another flashpoint this morning. Amma, what's going on there?
That's correct, Bongani. An accident on Olifantsfontein Road near the N1 exit is causing heavy delays, and not far from the scene, we've got another accident seen in Blue Hills. It's also on Olifantsfontein Road approaching the R55. It's also causing delays while traveling on the N1 South. Do expect delays towards Samrand Avenue due to roadworks taking place there. The delays are as you come out of the Brakfontein interchange. Otherwise, if you are traveling on the N12 West in the Boksburg Benoni area, do expect delays between Snake Road and Atlas Road. This is due to peak time delays. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 South. This is now due to roadworks taking place right after Modderfontein Road. Delays from Modderfontein towards Linksfield Road, and there's a queuing traffic on the Mike 1 North right at the Kilani Bains, and Houghton Drive is also backed up as a result. Please be on the lookout there and continue being patient on the roads. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Great entrance? Forget that. Make a grand entrance. Grand! Be late, make everyone wait, and be grateful they did. Peeps be rubbernecking, staring gormlessly like deer in your 50,000 intelligent LED headlights. Grand! Make a grand entrance in the new Opel Grandland, designed and made in Germany. Achtung, baby. Grand! It's even got massage seats. Uber grand! Visit opel.co.za for more.
702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me, what's the question? If the answer is Red Table Talk. Let's go to Shimon Lee in Riverlea. Shimon Lee, what's the question?
Hi, good morning, Bongani. The question is, what is the name of the talk show hosted by Jada Pinkett Smith, who was born on this day in 1971, who turns 54 years old?
You've covered all your bases. 2,000 Rand is coming your way then, Shimon Lee, as thanks for you for that answer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, courtesy of Outsurance and 702. And of course, I'm told you are a member of Outsurance as well, so that helps. Remember, of course, you always stand a better chance of being selected if you are a member or if you have requested a quote. Yes, indeed, Jada Pinkett Smith, born on this day in 1971. I want you to listen to that 2023 appearance on the Jay Shetty podcast, where she revealed that she and Will Smith had not been together for quite some time.
Even with that entanglement piece, which I talk about extensively in the book, how I played a part in the misconception of that narrative of allowing myself to be portrayed as an adulteress, allowing myself to be portrayed as someone that had betrayed Will. The case. We broke up in 2016, went on to live a life as a single man. I went on to live a life as a single woman. And then when we had the talk at the Red Table, I was going to go to the Red Table by myself to talk about the entanglement. But Will decided he wanted to come with me. And we were going to then tell the world, hey, we haven't been together. And this happened during that time. But when we got to the table, Will wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready for the world to know that. I had to respect that. Well, I didn't have to, but I wanted to.
Gosh, what a complicated family they have, is it not? All right, 1,500 reasons to get an Outsurance car insurance quote today. You heard it here. If Outsurance doesn't beat your car insurance premium, they'll give you 500 Rand in cash. They'll even make it 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free with the same insurer for at least 3 years. Savings or cash, you always get something out. Get a quick and easy quote today. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. A licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Medical care, like music, needs continuity, a steady rhythm and pattern. Patients attended to on time, medication taken as prescribed. Cut the rhythm, and it falls apart. Right now, global funding cuts are restricting access to healthcare. With your support, Doctors Without Borders can continue to provide medical care to communities worldwide. Because medicine, like music, only works when uninterrupted. Doctors Without Borders. We go there.
Naked people smell expensive because naked people spend less money on insurance premiums and more money on fancy French colognes with names they can't pronounce. With Naked, you can cover your car, home, and stuff in seconds. And because it's all online, it also costs less. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and start smelling like naked people. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, baby. Returning this weekend at the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit. Getting there is easy. So you take the Gautrain to the Midrand station, then hop on the free shuttle to the festival. And the shuttles will be running all day, with the last one leaving at 11 p.m. on Saturday and 10 p.m. on Sunday. The Gautrain will also run extended late-night services to get you home safely. Standard fares and rules apply.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
Time now for the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Bailey.
Not the most dramatic of children. You will kill us.
Oh, my word. This one made me chuckle very, very loudly, and I've been tagged a lot on this video. So, are you born dramatic, or do you develop to be dramatic later on in life, I wonder? So, this little girl, she's sitting...
know.
Yeah. And I mean, we have some very dramatic people sitting in studio right now. I mean, no names mentioned at all.
Never.
Not at all. So she's sitting at the restaurant with her mom and her dad, and they ordered sushi, and it's that fancy sushi where they pour like a syrup over it, and then they light it, and it, there's flames. And she reacts to this situation. Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
You kill us! You kill us! You will kill us!
No, calm down. Calm down. That is they said all to kill you. Who will kill you?
Tiva, you're so dramatic.
You will kill us! Oh, very, very funny, I must say.
Cute little kid, but very
Cute
dramatic.
Indeed, but very dramatic. Even her mother says she's dramatic. But I wanted to ask this morning, who is the most dramatic person that you know in your life? So any little situation, they are dramatic, and it's like, this and that, and they blow it out of proportion. So I want to know who it is, and if you can remember one specific situation where you thought to yourself, why are you being so dramatic in this situation? What's going on here? I'd love to hear those stories this morning, Bongles.
Amo, who's the most dramatic person you know?
You.
Kabazela, how much
Yes.
are you paying her for that?
Oh, it's priceless, what she just said. Priceless.
That's what's gone viral with Kabazela. Who's the most dramatic person in your life? And what was the most memorable, dramatic moment with them?
EWN Traffic.
Now, this Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Without any drama, Amo, what's happening in traffic?
Well, we've got delays on the N1 South. This is due to roadworks that are taking place near Samrin Avenue. The delays are between Brackfontein Interchange and Olifantsfontein Road. While traveling in Blue Hills, we've got an accident scene reported on Summit Road. It's right near the R55. It's causing heavy traffic volumes this morning, so please be on the lookout there. I'll have more updates coming up shortly. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
20 years ago, you were being driven, maybe, to your matric dance. Do you remember? Well, even 20 years ago, the Outsurance pointsmen were on the roads easing traffic congestion. So whether you're a client of Outsurance or not, we've all been getting something out, hey? So show the Outsurance pointsmen some love this month and celebrate this 20th anniversary using hashtag pointsmanlove. Joburg, Tshwane, Paarl, Stellenbosch, let's all celebrate. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702.
702.
Feedback.
With Rupfiwa Kone.
Rupfiwa Kone, who's the most dramatic person you know?
Absolutely, definitely my mother.
Yes? What story? Can you remember? Thank you for being kind and
many.
saying it's not me, because I'm
She
not dramatic.
exaggerates everything. I remember I was in standard grade 6, and I got a certificate for, and they used the word that she didn't know at the time. It was meritorious behavior, simply meaning I've got manners, I've got good manners. And I got that certificate, and it was one of my very first certificates because I was a very rowdy and very wild child growing up. And I got the certificate, and because my mom didn't understand or didn't know the meaning of the word,
Yeah.
she said, "You are notorious." They gave you a certificate because you're notorious. It was so dramatic. I had to call my teacher and be like, "Please just explain to my mom what this word means," because now she thinks I'm getting a certificate for being notorious.
KG, please play Notorious.
My mom is definitely.
All right. What other dramatic things are happening in the news at the moment?
Well, Bongani, South Africans and 702 landers are basically commending General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi for being a true hero and commending him for his bravery to stand up against the powers that be, shining the light on corruption that is eating away at the country. They are saying, give him a better position, make him a decision maker, because he's probably one of the leaders that we have who has his head on correctly.
Look, and this is the thing we all have to think about as the commission unfolds. Yesterday was only day one, and we're obviously going to hear a whole lot more. Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is not without his detractors. And so whilst I made the point that based on popularity, because direct elections are a popularity contest, I've no doubt who South Africans would elect if they could directly, right? But what happens? What happens if there are any skeletons in his cupboard start rattling?
Then we'll have to wait and see. It's
a high-stakes game, is it not?
Absolutely, Bongani.
All right, that's the feedback with the notorious Ropfiwa Kone. Up next, we take your calls, your reactions to all that we've raised on the show. It's 8 o'clock.
This is EWN.
MK Party to continue its fight to halt police inquiry, and Reserve Bank prepares to announce repo rate this afternoon. Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. With day 2 of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry set to get underway this morning, an application by the Umkhonto weSizwe Party to halt the inquiry is set to be heard in the Pretoria High Court today. The party and its leader, former President Jacob Zuma, have approached the High Court after the Constitutional Court denied them direct access in July. The MK Party is also challenging President Cyril Ramaphosa's decision to place Police Minister Senzo Mchunu on special leave following damning allegations made by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Khomotso Modise has more.
Today is day 2 of the Police Commission of Inquiry, and the MK Party will be in court this morning trying to get it interdicted from proceeding. The party and its leader, former President Jacob Zuma, will argue before a full bench that President Cyril Ramaphosa was biased, acted in bad faith, was dishonest, and had improper motives. The party also claims the president violated his constitutional obligations when he placed Senzo Mchunu on special leave and appointed Feroz Kachalia as acting police minister. The president insists he's dealt with Mchunu in accordance with his constitutional powers and there was no bias or special treatment. The parties also questioned why a commission of inquiry with members of the judiciary is set up to investigate allegations made by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, some of which were against members of the judiciary. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News.
Let's stay in the courts. 5 South African National Defence Force members and 2 undocumented Zimbabwean nationals linked to an unauthorized drug bust in Limpopo are set to appear before the Musina Magistrates Court today. The group was arrested yesterday after an incident where shots were fired and illicit goods were seized. The group faces multiple charges, including corruption and the unlawful discharge of a firearm, SANDF spokesperson Prince Shabalala.
The South African National Defence Force confirmed that an arrest of 5 of its members, together with 2 foreign nationals, were arrested following an intelligence-led operation in Musina, Limpopo on the morning of the 16th of September. Any member found to be acting in contravention of the law will face the full might and the consequence of both the military and civilian justice systems.
To this now, Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero and the city's water utility are set to return to frustrated communities in the west of Johannesburg to give an update of water restoration efforts. This will mark the second visit to the area since residents staged protests over ongoing interruptions. Jabuli Limbata reports.
Last week, Joburg Water announced that it would cut water supply in other areas to bring up the water levels in Westbury and surrounding areas. The entity explained that they were in the situation because their infrastructure is old, they grapple with leaks, and there are many communities that are connected illegally. They placed 21 water tankers in the area while building up water levels in reservoirs. This is while 800 million rand will be put by the city of Joburg towards the main water system to work on repairs and pipe replacement, which will happen over time. Residents have threatened protest actions should the water woes persist. Jabuli Limbata, Eyewitness News.
Some economists say a repo rate cut is not a done deal after annual inflation dropped to a 3-month low in August. Annual consumer price inflation eased to 3.3% in August from 3.5% in July. Stats SA released the latest inflation print yesterday. The drop brings it slightly closer to the Reserve Bank's new preferred inflation target of 3% as the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee prepares to announce the latest repo rate decision today. Nugukanya Mtambo has the details.
This will be the first time the Reserve Bank's new preferred inflation target is put to the test. In July, the Reserve Bank took an unexpected decision to revise its inflation target down to 3% on the lower end of its inflation target band of 3 and 6% instead of the midpoint. At the time, Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana took exception to what he described as a unilateral and preemptive announcement, although efforts continue for the Central Bank and Treasury to find consensus on the matter. Chief economist at Sanlam Investments, Arthur Kamp, says the latest inflation data has raised the odds for today's repo rate decision, but there's still no guarantee.
Recently released inflation expectations indicate that, yes, encouragingly, inflation expectations are lower. However, at 4.2% for both 2026 and 2027, average expectations still remain well above the bank's new preferred target.
While some economists believe there's room for one more 25 basis point cut this year, economists at FNB believe interest rates are likely to remain unchanged in the 2 final MPC meetings. Nugukanya Mtambo, Eyewitness News.
And in the UK, government has welcomed a £150 billion investment commitment by the United States. The record-breaking package of US investment into the UK has been announced during US President Donald Trump's state visit. The UK government says it expects the commitment to create more than 7,600 high-quality jobs across the country. Today, major UK and US investors will be meeting the Prime Minister and President Trump to discuss future collaborations. Gold is trading at $3,658.09 an ounce. The rand is at 17.43 to the dollar, 23.72 to the pound, 20.58 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $68.47 a barrel.
A stop and go on the M1 North. This is between Boyson's Road and Hudson Drive. This is due to peak time delays at this time of the morning. There's also queuing traffic heading towards Norwood. This is just on the R525, so please be on the lookout there. While travelling on the N3 North, delays between Van Buren Road and the Gilulis interchange.
And in your sport, another Champions League night tonight. Manchester City, Newcastle and Barcelona all in action. Sundowns held by Gallants and failed to go top. Zakiti Nene is going for gold in the men's 400-metre final at the World Athletics Champs at 3:10 this afternoon. And big names start signing up for the inaugural Enhanced Games, an event that will allow athletes on performance-enhancing drugs to compete.
A fine Thursday in store for Gauteng today. Temperatures will peak at highs of between 27 and 28 degrees. The top story in EWN, an application by the Umkhonto weSizwe Party to halt the police inquiry is set to be heard today in the Pretoria High Court.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Day 2 of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry set to get underway this morning. And it really is, it's going to set the cat among the pigeons, because the one thing we've got to be careful of is reaching conclusions very early on. As I said earlier, Ndlandla Mkhwanazi is not without his own accusers or detractors at the very least. Yes, of course, it appears at the moment that he knows what he's talking about. He's got facts, he's got dates, and he's told the commission that he's got evidence. And he points a finger at the suspended minister Senzo Mchunu, saying he was involved in syndicates. I expect at some point Senzo Mchunu is definitely going to be called in as a witness. Now, let me go back to my preacher Bible days. Isn't there a proverb that says, the first to present his case always seems right until you hear the other side?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes after 8 o'clock, Kabazela wants to know, who's the most dramatic person you know? Rupfiwa Kone says it's her mom. Amo, who's the most dramatic person you know? Not me, obviously. Come now.
Oh, it has to be me. In my family, I think I'm the drama. Firstly, my energy.
I the drama.
My energy is beyond. I'm very energetic. Even if it's like very early in the morning, my energy is already, the moment I open my eyes, my energy is high.
And what are you like at night? Do you sort of fade as the day goes?
No, I only fade when I've worked a long shift. That's when I fade, and it messes me up.
So you're more a morning person, really, rather than a night owl, right? And that's why you and I both, right? You and me both, because I am ready. I am ready in the morning. By 8 o'clock, who are you? Muteo? The most dramatic person you know. And do you have a memory of them?
It's always been my
being
sister.
Dramatic, yeah.
Very, very dramatic. From playground days where she used to deal with things there on the playground and didn't want the parents involved, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Is she older or younger than you?
She's older than me.
So she protected you once or twice,
did
she?
She did, definitely. She definitely did, and she would do it today too. So the most dramatic person in my life, definitely. Anything, even if she's dreamt of something, she will want to voice note you for 8 minutes, and it's gonna be a whole series, episode telling you the ins and outs of the dream and what she thinks it means. And she's very, very dramatic.
All right, who's the most dramatic person you know, and can you tell us a specific story about them? I asked you a little earlier on how well does your family put on a show? I mean, if there's an event, a gathering of some kind, a wedding, a christening, whatever it may be, do you pull out all the stops that the relatives, the neighbors, acquaintances, colleagues, everybody is impressed? It comes, of course, in the wake of the US President Donald Trump's second state visit to the United Kingdom. And I played you this clip earlier of Sky News reporter Mark Stone describing exactly what unfolded and how bedazzled Trump was.
Pomp, pageantry, but with a purpose. And I can tell you first up that the British government is very happy with how it went. And of course they are, because Donald Trump was bedazzled. He seemed genuinely moved at times as he walked round this historic castle, the king with him, the Prince of Wales, the Princess of Wales. It had everything that this president so enjoys. There was, of course, the banquet, the evening event that was kind of a who's who, but who's where as well. We were looking for where people were sitting, who was next to who. The king, of course, next to the president, flanked either side by the Princess of Wales and by the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. On the other side, the Queen, Queen Camilla. Next to her, it was the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. The tech bros as well, from business, technology, AI, because that is what all this is about. It's about trying to draw in, to flatter this unpredictable, unconventional, disruptive president, precisely because he is all those things.
So Mark Stone essentially says, look, they are playing tag team here. The royal family does all the pageantry, does all of the light, fluffy stuff. But what comes next, of course, are the real conversations as far as deals are concerned, whether that's tariffs or cooperation. As far as, say, Ukraine is concerned, now the real work begins.
The British government's view is that it is in the British national interest to bring him as close as possible. So this was really an extraordinary day. He did seem to massively enjoy it. They're happy. The British government is happy. The day ahead, though, that's the challenge. That's where the rubber hits the road. That's where we will talk. They will talk about the business deals, about the tech deals, and of course there will be that news conference.
All right, that is to happen with the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. You can expect all of that to unfold today. Send us a WhatsApp voice note, 072 702 1702. You can still feel free to call us, by the way. We do take live calls, really, we do, on 011 883 0702.
Good morning, 702 Land. Bongani, when it comes to imqimbi or ceremonies, my family, we are 3 sisters. We'll take each other from pillar to post. But at the end, something will happen and we'll pull up something special.
Hey, Bongs and the team. I mean, my family can put on a show. But one thing my dad taught me and my mom taught me is ungathatha ama-chance uma yenza into yakho. Yenza into yakho uqede. Don't invite people bese uku-expect ama-donations. Yenza into yakho, uyimele into yakho, ugcwale igrubo lakho. So whatever le uzoyenza, better make sure.
What happens, though, if there isn't, if the budget is tight? Because let's also have a conversation about that, right? I think sometimes, in the name of pulling out all the stops, we break the bank and then there's no food that month because now Mteo got married and there's no food, right? But you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you mean. I think then as a family you decide to have a smaller function that only involves family, not even friends, just close family to do that particular, whether umcimbi or whatever the case is, so that budget-wise, you covered.
Can we rethink some of our family functions? And I always use a funeral as an example. Yes, in pre-colonial village settings, I understand about slaughtering cows and slaughtering sheep, and for traditionalists, I get why that might be important. But for somebody who is not a traditionalist, what's wrong with having a great service, being at the graveyard, and serving a tea afterwards?
I think there's nothing wrong with that.
As a budgetary reason.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think more often these days you see those kind of setups where you'll have sandwiches and some juice and that's it.
And tea and scones.
You go home. But for some families, and I still understand this, you will have the cow, the meal.
Sure. That's why I said for traditionalists.
Exactly.
I get it. I'm not even going to argue with those. But particularly if budget is a concern. Because do you know how many people do not eat mcimbi, funeral food?
Yeah.
Who make it as a rule. Who say, I won't eat the meat, I won't eat that. And they're worried about all sorts of reasons. And so you cater for all these people and not all of them even have the food that you've prepared.
What I've had to learn is to accept that different people do different things. So I'll come to your mcimbi, and if you're doing sandwiches, I'm not going to ask questions. But back in the day, it would always be a side eye of what is going on here. But now I've learned to say, okay, it's not my household. This is how you guys do things. And, I'll respect that.
And what do you think our parents would understand that? Would be as understanding as Mateo?
I don't think so. Firstly, if my mom is hosting something, you will not dish for people on plastic plates. No matter how many people are, no matter how large of a crowd there is, no one will use or be seen using a paper plate or a plastic plate.
So not even those polystyrene pack-away cups?
No.
Containers?
No, she hates those. So it would be a different story for her.
All right. What are your thoughts? Do we all need to put on a state visit? Did you see the visuals from the palace? I think it was Windsor Castle. There was so much gold. I think they went and dug it out from Henry VIII's time just for Trump because, that speaks to him. Do we really always have to have that kind of pageantry when we host family events, particularly in these tough economic times? What are your thoughts?
Let's talk.
We're listening.
Bongos, good morning, Israeli Krugazo. You talking about the dramatic people. I think the most dramatic party that I know of in South Africa is MK Party. MKP. These guys, they are so dramatic. I can tell you that they're busy picketing outside the commission, the Mabanda commission. For what? They don't realize. No, the train has left Bongos. That commission is going on with or without them.
Hey, morning, Box. This is Twarimo from the Val. Yeah, the person who's very dramatic in my life is my partner. Wow, Bongs, she is so dramatic. She once caused a scene in a taxi in Joburg, CBD, inside the taxi while I'm traveling with her. I received the call. I don't know, it was an unknown call from some lady. So she heard the voice on the phone. Oh, she caused a scene in a taxi. In a taxi, the noise and everything. But I understand, she's causer. Very, very dramatic, but I love it anyway.
You just made my morning. Baruno. No, your mom is a legend. I must meet her for coffee. Oh, Tataravi. Pearl Center.
And our little drama queen. Thank you for making my day. Thank you for making me laugh. I received a message that just, tipped me off the wrong way. And I was just actually looking for a pick-me-up song. When I heard, you will kill us. Thank you for making me laugh.
Good morning, Bongani. My mom is the most dramatic person. In fact, I'm even tempted to say majority of Xhosa moms are dramatic. I don't want to say black parents are dramatic or black moms. I remember my mom growing up. I once broke a cup. All she would say is bulala zonke zikhuphe zonke ngoba kaloku zithengwa nguwe. Phofu in fact ungumbulali wena. Bulala mntanam, bulala.
So I got to tell you the story. I stole from, I think it was my mother or one of her friends had visited. I mean, of course, I was a teenager. And I think I pulled out a 10 Rand note or something. I can't remember. But I stole. And they couldn't for certain prove that I had, but all suspicion was on me. And I was a weekly boarder. So come the Monday morning, I need to go to school. But I had to take the bus to get to where the school, so there's a pickup point, a central pickup point where the weekly boarders would meet on a Monday and the bus would bring us back on the Friday. So it's the Monday morning. I'm asking my mother for bus fare to now go to the bus. And she says, Hamba modgegez. And this one go and go rob. You're a robber, mas. Go steal. And she refused to give me the bus fare. So if you think I am dramatic, I'm not even worthy to tie her shoelaces.
EWN Traffic.
21 after 8, a collision in Randburg. Amma, what's going on?
That's correct, Bongani. It's right near Malibongwe Drive. Delays coming out of Beyers Nodia Drive. Please be on the lookout there. It's causing about a 20-minute hold-up. Speaking of Malibongwe Drive, delays between Witkoppen Road, Northumberland Avenue and the N1. There's also queuing traffic on the N12 as well as the R24 West between Edenville Road and the Kidulis interchange. If you are traveling along the N1 South, do expect delays coming out of Islandale Road all the way towards the M1 South near Marlborough Drive. Peak time delays there. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
It's time to eat, dance, and celebrate the DSTV Delicious Festival powered by Lotterstar, serving up 2 days of world-class entertainment from international acts to SA's finest artists alongside culinary masterpieces from the best local chefs. Browse fashion and art, take part in live cooking demos, soak up the festival's electric atmosphere. Saturday 20th September for you and your crew, Sunday the 21st of September for the family picnic vibes. DSTV is turning 30 and you're invited to the party. One ticket, endless experiences. Tickets at Ticketmaster. More on deliciousfestival.com.
Okay, truck 7, that has 0 warning lights. Truck 8, it's just been serviced. I guess we're running like a well-oiled machine. Where would I be without MyWay's comprehensive cover for my vans and trucks? Plus, cover for my customers' orders with goods and transit insurance. I guess we'll never know.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. MyWay is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. MyWay. Live your way.
You've reached in his Renault Duster en route to Dullstrom. This journey is taking to try a sport far more boring than its name might suggest. Fly. Fishing. He'll be in his Renault Duster, which he bought with 40,000 Rand trade-in assistance.
Leave it all behind in the new Renault Duster with 40,000 Rand trade-in assistance. Offer exclusive to Renault Financial Services. Product of APSA. T's and C's apply.
For the first time ever, the G20 summit is being hosted on African soil, a global moment of solidarity, equality, and sustainability with Africa at the center. Tune in this Friday between 6 and 9 a.m. for the G20 Correspondence Desk on 702, brought to you by RMB and FNB, proud sponsors of this year's G20 summit. Get all the latest news, views, insights, and breakthroughs from the summit as it happens. The G20 Correspondence Desk, brought to you by RMB and FNB, divisions of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
702, The World View.
With Adam Gilchrist.
24 minutes after 8 o'clock. Adam Gilchrist, good morning to you. Goodness me, how much more can people take? Let's start with this devastating drought in Syria, hot on the heels of civil war.
Yeah, and of course with ongoing international concerns as well, who's going to help them? So Syria now joins the list of drought-hit, famine-hit, crisis-hit nations of the world. They've had the worst drought in 36 years, which has slashed Syria's crucial wheat harvest by 40%. Just to give you an idea, I mean, rainfall has dropped way off the scale. It's about 30% of what it should be. But the United Nations estimates that they are short of enough wheat to feed 16 million people for a year. So they're short of that. How do they find the food for 16 million people in that? I mean, that's a lot of people in dire straits. The UN is making all these warnings, but unfortunately for Syria, it's not really on the radar at the moment, is it? So it needs to get there fast so they can get the help it needs.
And you can just watch that crisis become bigger and bigger, Adam. Now, tell me about one of the world's, I mean, it really must be one of the world's top tourist destinations, but things went pear-shaped.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list. It must be on your bucket list as a place to go. Machu Picchu in Peru, the Inca stronghold up in the mountains, a UNESCO site, one of those extraordinary places. I know people who've been there and say it is an extraordinary place. It takes something to get there. And one of the things it takes to get there is either a bus or a train. Well, guess what? Because of a bus contract conflict, protesters laid some big rocks on the railway line, so the passenger train service can't get there. The bus can't get there because there aren't buses to get there. So now people have been stuck in the town of Aguas Calientes, which is the town nearest to Machu Picchu, although it's still an hour and a half or 2 hour hike, I think, up to the site itself. But anyway, 1,400 tourists have been evacuated. Some of them, of course, are Peruvian, but otherwise from around the world. I'll bet you there's some Brits and some South Africans in amongst them. But 900 people are still stranded, if not at Machu Picchu, then at Aguas Calientes, that nearby town. I guess if you're stranded in Peru, what have you got to keep you going? That strange wind ocarina music and some good coffee. That'll do, actually, some good coffee.
Now, our next discussion point, Adam, is a guy who still knows it's not Christmas at all.
Bob Geldof, honorary title Sir Bob Geldof, has confirmed he won't be running to become the next Irish president. They have this lovely thing in Ireland whereby the president doesn't really have to do a great deal, just be a figurehead and grip and grin. Not like other people's presidents who like to take charge a little bit. But the Band-Aid Live Aid Boomtown Rat star says 7 years in political office is too much for his family, his career. And yes, the Boomtown Rats are actually touring next month. I mean, who knew that? Geldof did apparently consider it. As did the UFC fighter Conor McGregor. He's also ruled himself out of standing for Irish president. But Mr. Riverdance, Michael Flatley, has expressed an interest. You could see him not just gripping and grinning, but also doing a nice little sort of soft shoe shuffle as well. The odd thing about in Ireland, it does seem to happen in Ireland specifically, maybe there are other places too. Basically, they seem to choose their favourite Irish person that year. So I would put forward Pierce Brosnan, Colin Farrell, or anyone from the cause. I'd vote for them.
Adam, well, I can tell you about one president who perhaps doesn't grip as much as he gropes and grins, and does a lot doing so. I'll leave it there for
that
this
one.
morning's worldview.
EWN Business.
Well, talking about business news, Mutero, 28 after 8, the fintech firm Yoko announcing a change in leadership.
Yeah, founder and CEO of Yoko, Katlego Mapai, has announced he will step down from his executive role. The co-founders, Lungisa Machoba and Bradley Watrous, have been appointed as co-CEOs. Machoba will focus on product innovation and growth, while Watrous will oversee governance and scalability. Now, Yoko has processed more than 32 billion rand in transactions and serves over 200,000 small businesses. Since its founding 10 years ago, the company has grown as a startup aimed at helping small businesses accept card payments.
What a fantastic story, hey? That is just one of those business stories that you should know a little bit more about, I think, actually, seeing as how far they have come. Now, we've got a lower inflation number, Muteo, and that leaves the Reserve Bank with quite a bit to think about before this afternoon.
Yeah, the Monetary Policy Committee has a lot to think about come this afternoon. The inflation number from Stats SA yesterday coming in lower on a month-on-month basis at 3.3%, down from 3.5% in July. The lower food prices contributed to the decrease in headline inflation, while lower fuel prices also helped ease the overall inflation rate. Now, this data print came a day before the Reserve Bank's Monetary Policy Committee meeting today. It's expected that the lower inflation rate, dropping price forecasts, as well as the US interest rate cut that came through last night will persuade the SARB to shave interest rates by at least 25 basis points. Some analysts, though, believe it is an opportunity for the SARB to hold rates at 7%.
All right, let's look at the Rand. What are your indicators showing you?
Rand is down 0.5% since the US cut interest rates last night at 17 Rand 48 against the dollar, 20 Rand 60 cents against the euro, and at 23 Rand 76 cents against the British pound. The price of gold at $3,642 an ounce, or platinum is at $1,365. Brent crude at $67.57 a barrel. I'll bring you more business this afternoon.
Straight to the news desk we go. Mbali Dlamini, let's start in the Western Cape. Not very good news, I'm afraid.
Not good news at all, Bongani. Good morning. More gang-related deaths have been reported in the Western Cape. Anti-gang unit detectives are currently probing a suspected gang-related triple murder in West Ridge in Mitchell's Plain. 3 men were shot and killed there last night. The police's Novella Potelwa.
Reports indicate that gunmen traveling in a vehicle shot at the 3 deceased persons and later fled. It is believed that the incident is gang-related. No arrests have been effected yet.
To the courts now, where the man who transported the suspects who allegedly robbed President Cyril Ramaphosa's farm was allegedly paid $30,000 in cash. The driver, who cannot be named, testified in court yesterday that he drove accused number 1, Emmanuel David, and 2 of his accomplices from Limpopo to Gauteng a day after the robbery. The 3 are accused of breaking into the farm and making off with $580,000 in cash. They appeared at the Mudimole Regional Court yesterday for their trial. Tabiso Koba has more.
The driver testified in court yesterday. He was paid 7,000 rand after dropping off Emmanuel David and his 2 friends at a car dealership in Gauteng. However, the state's prosecutor contradicted his own witness, saying this was not true. The prosecutor, Nketene Monyai, says a signed statement by the driver says he was paid $30,000 in cash. In his statement, the driver says he exchanged $10,000 for 145,000 rand with an owner of a car dealership in Benoni that he was introduced to by David. A few months later, the driver did a similar exchange with the owner. It's understood the last $10,000 were seized by the police in a sting operation to entrap the driver. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
Deputy International Relations Minister Alvin Boetes says the world is witnessing an expansion of the genocide against the people of Palestine. Boetes says government is engaging several countries to ensure that Israel responds to obligations under the Genocide Convention. He made the remarks during an oral question session at the National Assembly yesterday. Babalondenze reports.
Alvin Boetes was asked whether South Africa will consider reviewing its original referral of Israel to the International Court of Justice to also include a call for immediate and effective intervention by the United Nations. This was considering what Al-Jamaa called fresh allegations of genocide against Israel as it intensifies its attacks in Gaza. But Boetes says the allegations are not new.
I think what we are seeing here is the expansion of a genocide that are being committed against the vulnerable people of Palestine by the state of Israel. We do regard, Chair, unequivocally that the conduct of the state of Israel is in breach of international law.
Boetes says the department has also taken Parliament into confidence on its decision to downgrade Israel's embassy and also recall South Africa's entire diplomatic personnel from Tel Aviv. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News.
And dozens of Sudanese refugees have been killed or are still missing after 2 boat disasters off the coast of Libya. The International Organization for Migration says one of the boats capsized on Saturday, while the second caught fire on Sunday. The first boat was carrying 74 people and only 13 have been found alive by search and rescue workers. At least 50 people are believed to have died in the vessel which caught fire. Libya is a key transit country for thousands of migrants who are seeking to reach Europe by sea each year. A fine Thursday in store for Gauteng today, temperatures peaking at highs of between 27 and 28 degrees.
And in the traffic, we still have got that accident in Randburg on the N1 North, right near Malibongo Drive. Delays from Beyers Nodia Drive while travelling on the N3 North, bumper-to-bumper traffic between the Elands interchange and the Geldenhuys interchange.
The top story in EWN, anti-gang unit detectives are probing a suspected gang-related triple murder in Westridge in Mitchell's Plain in the Western Cape.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
When the subject is the integrity of the police itself, that must be a bit tricky for you to manage.
It is tricky indeed, but we mustn't forget that every single day there are hundreds and thousands of law enforcement officers who go to work and do their jobs and do it well. The fact that there are rotten apples, I mean, that is what we are here to do, to get to the bottom of those allegations.
Jeremy Michaels.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
This isn't an event, it's a statement. When you choose Thirst mobile bar services, you choose confidence without spectacle. These discreet mobile bars come with expert mixologists and service that speaks louder than words. Every detail refined, every pour intentional, every guest remembered. Thirst mobile bar services, the perfect ingredient, the perfect outcome. And for those who expect more and settle for nothing less, secure your year-end date now at thirst.co.za.
We're going to make insurance great again. We're going to build a wall around high premiums. A big wall. The best wall. And guess what? You're not paying for it. We're going to grab poor service by the policy. It's going to be tremendous. Believe me.
This message has absolutely nothing to do with the US government. It's paid for by the King of Insurance, who's making insurance great again. Get a quote now. It'll be the best decision, people are saying, ever. King Price is a licensed FSP. No fake news, just lacquer insurance.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 750 gram, 780 gram, 850 gram Nola mayonnaise, excluding squeeze bottle, for $38.99. Save R6 with Spar Rewards, or 2-liter Spar full cream or low-fat ultra-pasteurized milk for $32.99 with Spar Rewards. Plus, you could win your share of R6 million in instant cash. Price is valid until 22 September 2025. While stocks last. T's and C's apply.
Did you know the biggest environmental health risk of our time is air pollution? So today, the Gauteng Department of Environment, together with the city of Tshwane, observes the International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies. Catch the Clement Manyatela show live from the JNF Walter Sisulu Environmental Center in Mamelodi, bringing you all the highlights and live updates under the theme Racing for Air. The day raises awareness on air quality issues and inspires sustainable action for a healthier Gauteng. Don't miss it on 702.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bongani and team. My goodness, Ian Cameron is on fire there. I agree with him. I watched I watched the Lieutenant General Tlantla Mkhwanazi. He was impressive. And I agree with Ian Cameron. We are not a failed state. We have good people. We even have a president that has the guts to say, or the gumption to say, an opposition party is doing well. He praised the Democratic Alliance for good governance. And in line with what Ian Cameron says, I think we are on a good path if we continue calling out the bad and bringing out the good. This is Cynthia.
Good morning, Bongani. Good morning, 702. Bongani, can you please give us an insight as to why Paul O'Sullivan was so or has been against Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi coming out? I mean, I remember the interview that you had him, and he felt very strong that Mkhwanazi shouldn't have done what he has done. It's very interesting. I haven't been following, or I don't have any facts as to why would he be against what Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has done. Thank you, Bongingo Sentembi.
Anonymous from the East Rand. Listening to these, especially after 7 interviews, is very disheartening. Just honestly don't know how we got here, except for turning blind eyes. All of us, we are all implicated because we all did not do anything. We let these people get away with absolute mayhem. And what department is not in utter destruction and dire need of turning around? But when the justice system is in this state, then I don't know how much hope I have left for this country. It's hard.
You know, everything that you're saying about Mkhwanazi, Bongani, is that what Malam already said before. He already said that Nhlanhla should have been police commissioner way back around before, during COVID. He did say that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi should be police commissioner. He told Begi. Nobody listened to Malema. Now you're seeing how Mkhwanazi is more qualified than any of these police commissioners. So I'm of the way that Mkhwanazi deserves to be police commissioner. So this country's crimes can be turned upright and criminals can be caught. Tabang from Northwest.
Tabang from Northwest, it's early days. Hold your view. Wait until the end of the commission. You know how Cindy Paluta always says, it's still early in the season. Don't get too excited. Let's see how this thing plays out. I'm so curious about what people will be saying, I don't know, in December about what's unfolding at that commission. It's early days. Of course, Mkhwanazi was impressive yesterday, but it's still early days.
EWN Sport.
Isn't it rather like sports, Cindy? We all have a view because we have a particular bias. I want Pirates to win.
Mm-hmm.
They've won that 4th historic MTN 8 Cup final.
Mm-hmm.
That already tells me, they could win the league. This could be their year.
Yeah.
Chiefs have had this fantastic start. Of course, all the Amakosi fans. This could be their year. This could be their year. Sundowns, slight wobble, but this could be their year. We all look at sports based on what we want rather than what might actually happen on the field.
I think you touched on something very important there, and that's momentum, right? So if something starts strong, you want them to finish, if we're going to use a sport analogy. So with this commission of inquiry, you would want it to start strong and finish strong, because that's what gets you over the finish line with winning the league. You also want it to end within the allocated 90 minutes or 80 minutes, because the only way that you're going to keep the momentum going is by actually having a commission that ends timeously. Because
and something
if we
is
lose,
done.
if this commission is allowed to go on for ages and ages and ages, it will just end up being diluted.
Because we want ultimately something to be done about all the issues that are being raised. Look, some scary stuff already, and we're going to get more details today. And of course, after the commission has done its work for the day, when you get home, settle down in front of your telly with a glass of... What can you watch, Cindy?
Well, this Champions League, more Champions League tonight. 3 nights in a row. I don't know how anybody is functioning at work today. But anyway, selected fixtures tonight has Manchester City hosting Napoli and Newcastle entertaining Barcelona. Newcastle boss Eddie Howe.
It is a historic fixture. I think it's one that as soon as we realised we were drawn against Barcelona, it had a sort of a magical feel to it. I think it'll be an amazing game to experience. Yeah, obviously we've been focusing on the tactical preparation and making sure we deliver a good performance. And I'm really excited to sample the atmosphere. I think that will just be an incredible thing again.
Last night, Liverpool captain Van Dijk scored a header in the 92nd minutes to snatch a 3-2 win over Atletico. Defending champions PSG thrashed Atlanta 4-0. Bayern Munich merciless beating newcomers Chelsea 3-1. Ajax lost to Inter 2-0. Back home in the Betway Premiership, Sundowns failing to go top of the table. They were held by Galants 1-0. Stellenbosch continues to struggle, losing to Amazulu 2-1. Polokwane beat Arrows 2-1 as well. And Richards Bay missing a late penalty. They finished 1-0 with TS Galaxy. At the World Athletics Champs today, Sakiti Nene runs in the 400-meter final at 3:10, hoping to give Team SA their first medal. Also today, Prudence Segodisa and Shanae Duplessis competing in the 800 meters. Wade van Niekerk and Senasipo Dambele in the 200-meter semi-finals. That starts at around 2 o'clock. And former 100-meter world champion and double Olympic medalist Fred Curley has announced he will be joining the Enhanced Games that debuts in 2026. The Games will allow athletes to compete while openly taking performance-enhancing substances.
Ooh.
In June, World Aquatics said a bylaw preventing any athlete or official who supports or endorses doping from competing in their events. It means that moving from a traditional competition to the Enhanced Game is a one-way street, and technically just trying to obviously block athletes from entering this Enhanced Games, because from what we understand, it's a huge prize purse and huge appearance money to appear at these games. So technically you could compete at these games and have I would imagine have a program that would allow you to dope up to a certain point and still be clean in time for the 2028 Olympics.
Because it also depends on how long these substances stay in your system.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
This is the games I want to watch. But you got to say, here's Bongani. He took a Red Bull, a Nurofen, a whatever in the 100 meters. Here is Amor. She is on 4 cups of coffee and
See, what I'm curious about, I'm curious less about what they took, but rather here is Cindy, whose best time previously was, who normally would compete at this or that level. I don't know. I'm almost don't care what she took, but I want to see how well she does against their personal best based on these enhancements.
But for somebody like Fred Curley, you can do exactly that, right? Because he competed at the Olympics. So that would be his personal best. So they'll have those times.
It'll be very interesting.
It'll be like a PB and then like an Enhanced Games B. So like an EGB. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
And now for this enhanced traffic report by Amuranila. What did you take?
Well, Bongani, we've got delays in Germiston on the N3 North right as we approach the Geldenes interchange. This is due to an accident. So the delays are as we come out of Fort Stricker Road on the N12. If you were traveling on the N1 North, remember we spoke about that accident in the Randburg area. It's right near Malibongwe Drive. Delays from Bearsnodie Drive. There's also queuing traffic along the N1 South approaching Olifantsfontein Road in the Midrand area. Please be on the lookout there. More updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
At the heart of the global conversations shaping the future, well, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 summit, the Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Experience extraordinary with the new iPhone 17 from Vodacom, Mzansi's winning 5G network. More delightful, more durable, with a 6.3-inch ProMotion display, center stage front camera, and a ceramic shield that's 2 times more scratch resistant. Be among the first to get the all-new iPhone 17 plus a free extended warranty. Pre-order yours today. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
Naked people are popular at Bry's because naked people spend less money on insurance premiums. They have more money for T-bone steaks. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
All right, coming up next, of course, is the Clement Manyatela Show, which is coming all the way from Mamelodi this morning. And Thabo Mashao is in the hot seat. Good morning, Thabo.
Good morning, Bongles, and good morning to our listeners. Yes, you're right. We're coming to you live from Mamelodi Walter Sisulu Environmental Center at the JNF here in the city of Tshwane. And this is all on the backdrop of International Day for Clean Air that we are commemorating. It was actually on the 7th, and we're celebrating and commemorating the day today because 7 million people die every year due to air pollution. And so that's where we are, Bongles. We're going to start with an open line as usual, and of course General Mkhwanazi will make the headlines on the open line. We want to know from our listeners, what is it that they picked up that was not there before, and are they confident that there's more that will come through that they've been anticipating, given that some of the hearings will be done on camera. So we want to know about that, and generally the impressions around his testimony yesterday. So that's the open line. And we'll also ask on the open line that government is spending something like 1.3 billion rand on ghost workers. These are people, one, who are not official employees, right? Two, are employees, but they do not necessarily go to work. They chill at home as much as their employees, but get paid every single month. We're spending so much money on them. And what can be done about that? That's on the open line. Then, hanging out feature between 10 and 11. Max Papo, you'd remember Max from Skim Sam and many other productions. He is a playwright, an actor, and just a great gentleman. And we are in his neck of the woods, so he'll be here with us in the studio. So make sure that you don't miss that one. A little bit later on, we ask our experts to help us really dissect the hearings, the Madlanga Commission, and where are we headed from here. And we will be speaking to the Hokas of public interest. But generally, we want that expertise direction, because you and I, Bongani, can throw in our views here and there, but we want people who are going to give us enlightenment around this. All that and more between 9 and 12, Bongals.
All right, Thabo Mashao in the hot seat on the Clement Manyatela Show between 9 and 12.
OUTsurance made it possible for us to travel more with the money that we save. 725. This is really real.
You are the biggest saver we've ever had. 2,794 Rand a month. It was the easiest switch ever. Get real. How is it that OUTsurance provided the solution for you?
918 Rand is what I'm saving.
Incredible.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands.
Just phone OUTsurance, get a quote and see what they can offer you. If you don't save that 321 like I did, you might say get a 500 or $1,000 back. Service and savings, you'll always get something out. So what was the real deal they could offer you?
870.
That's amazing. What brought you and OUTsurance together?
718 Rand. I end up saving.
They gave you the real deal.
It literally is the real deal.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra presents its Symphonic Jazz Festival. Enjoy iconic South African jazz with full orchestra, big band, and rhythm section led by Marcus Wyatt. Featuring a stellar lineup of artists. Linda Auditorium on 24 September, 7:30 p.m. Tickets at Quicket.
The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotterstar, returning this weekend to the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit. Getting there is easy, so you can take the Gautrain to Midrand Station, then you'll hop on the free shuttle to the festival, and these run all day, with the last one leaving at 11 p.m. on Saturday, 10 p.m. on Sunday. The Gautrain also running extended late-night services to get you home safely. Standard fares and rules apply.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Hi, Bongani. In terms of this thing of cooking at funerals and stuff, Bongani, I think nowadays, since we are living in tough economic times, Bongani, there are those people who go for days without a decent meal. So if we cook at funerals, Bongani, I think we're giving them a chance to get a decent meal. At least once in a while or once a week, they can eat a decent meal. If only people afford, yes, they can cook. But if they don't afford tea and cakes, it's fine. But if they afford, yes, they can cook and then give those people a chance to have a decent meal. Joseph in Delmas. Thank you, Bongani.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
You are the beginning of a new legacy. Chase your dreams.
Only 7 days left to vote us the most promising restaurant in town. Help us win that 1 million rand Appy Bank check so we can level up. Ma, you are bringing the whole place down.
I went in on this place.
No, never.
Your mother has been taken.
We want our money. 1 week to cough up, or else she's dead.
How much were you thinking of investing in my business?
Do you have what it takes?
A brand new film set to light up our screens. It's called Loved Out. Wild, funny, and unapologetically female-led. It's what they call a dramedy. And it lands at cinemas nationwide on the 26th of September. So follow Ruva, played by Bahumi Mhlongo, whose world running the family restaurant is turned upside down when her mother, Gloria, played by Kabonina Kubega, is kidnapped. With just a week to save her, Ruva must juggle a high-stakes cooking competition, social media chaos, a jealous rival, and even shady church dealings. Whilst faking it, she finesses it. Joining us to unpack the film, its making, and the stories behind it is the writer, director, and producer, Tendai Nyeke. Tendai, very good morning to you and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
I always brag that Bongani is the Zulu version of Tendai, for those that don't know. So thank you. I love it. I love it. I'm like you.
I mean, running a family restaurant, doing all these things, juggling all of these roles, certainly that's something I have some idea about. But turning it into a movie is quite a feat.
It is. And really, this is a story about inherited family drama and how the next generation always tries to do better than the previous one, but you can't run away from what you've come from. And so this young woman has a mom who's very, very colorful and very chaotic, but she's super magnetic, but everywhere she goes, she causes chaos. And it's like, how do you manage that, right? How do you manage a person that you absolutely love who breaks everything she touches, including your own future, maybe?
How much is this autobiographical as a writer?
I think it's autobiographical for many a Black child and many a child that understands what it's like to carry the weight of a parent. So it's not 100%, but it's observations that I made growing up. I'm Zimbabwean born, came from a place where an economy was falling apart and so many things were out of control. And just family structures kind of got disrupted in sometimes funny and very chaotic ways. And so for me, it's a way to kind of interrogate that and build connection using comedy over real life strain in families.
And of course, Ruva is such a Zim name, is it not? And
It is. It means
Gloria.
flower.
Yes. Is it Ruvarashi is the complete name, isn't it?
Flower for anything. So Ruvarashi means the flower of the Lord. It can be flower of Bongani, the flower of anything. Yeah.
So talk to me about developing these characters. I mean, you talk about observations, but they're such a reflection of the modern African urban experience.
Yeah, so look, when I left Zim, I was in my early 20s. And so our hero, Ruva, played by Bahumi Mhlongo, is an early 20-something. And we know that Gen Z, many of them are trying to take, the future in their own hands. But we're in a tough economy, in a tough world that's in transition. And even when I was making the film 10 years ago, I felt like we were in a tough transition, but look at us now. While writing the film 10 years ago, look at us now. We're still in this complicated world. And so these characters for me have a bit of me, a bit of people that I love in them. But really, it's like a nod to the generation right now that feels out of control of things. But kind of this call to action of like, maybe you have more control than you think if you look inside and you change yourself before you try to change other people. So that's kind of the basis of that, of one of those characters. And then the other people around them that create drama, like the pastor who is not as shiny and as holy as he looks, the mother, other mother-in-law characters, lovers, love triangles. Some of us have experienced those things in some ways.
As a creative, I mean, you wear many hats here. You're the writer, you're the director, you're the producer. How challenging is it to restrain yourself, because you obviously have a creative vision from the moment you put pen to paper, figuratively, and to allow actors, to allow spaces, to allow this story to develop its own essence as a film?
So I started off as the first producer, but I had 3 others that supported me. So I'm one of 4. I'm not a lone ranger. But when you bring on team, they bring their perspective, but to elevate a core vision. But you have to have a core vision for the people to be able to do so. So I lean on team, I lean on casting, and you cast in a way that you trust the people to elevate the process. And casting is not just actors, it's your whole crew. So hire well, trust the creatives around you, and they just take your vision to the next level.
So let everybody color within the lines, so to speak, yeah?
Absolutely.
Right,
Absolutely.
it comes out on the 26th of September at cinemas everywhere.
It does. Everywhere, Cinecenter, New Metros, Kinoko, 26 September. Take your mother, take people that you have a tough conversation having, like people that you have a tough conversation having with. It's one of those things that through laughter, you can begin a deeper dialogue.
All right, so because maybe this will spark those conversations that have been difficult to have with those people in your life. Listen, congratulations, and we hope the film really, really does well. Out on the 26th of September at cinemas everywhere. It's called Loved Out, Chaos, Comedy, and Courage on the big screen.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
Look at the time. It's 9 o'clock already. Where does it go? But I tell you what, we'll be back, same time, same place for the Friday edition tomorrow. It's 9 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. With day 2 of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry set to get underway this morning, an application by the Umkhonto Sizwe Party to place Police Minister Senzo Mchunu on special leave after damning allegations made by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Khomotso Modise has more.
Today is day 2 of the Police Commission of Inquiry, and the MK party will be in court this morning trying to get it interdicted from proceeding. The party and its leader, former President Jacob Zuma, will argue before a full bench that President Cyril Ramaphosa was biased, acted in bad faith, was dishonest, and had improper motives. The party also claims the president violated his constitutional obligations when he placed Senzo Mchunu on special leave and appointed Feroz Kachalia as acting police minister. The president insists he's dealt with Mchunu in accordance with his constitutional powers and there was no bias or special treatment. The parties also questioned why a commission of inquiry with members of the judiciary is set up to investigate allegations made by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, some of which were against members of the judiciary. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News.
Let's stay in the courts. 5 South African National Defence Force members and 2 undocumented Zimbabwean nationals linked to an unauthorized drug bust in Limpopo are set to appear before the Musina Magistrates Court today. The group was arrested yesterday after an incident where shots were fired and illicit goods were seized. The group faces multiple charges, including corruption and the unlawful discharge of a firearm, SANDF spokesperson Prince Shabalala.
The South African National Defence Force confirmed that an arrest of 5 of its members, together with 2 foreign nationals, were arrested following an intelligence-led operation in Musina, Limpopo on the morning of the 16th of September. Any member found to be acting in contravention of the law will face the full might and the consequence of both the military and civilian justice systems.
The defence in the trial against the man accused of setting fire to the Usindiso building in the Joburg CBD has questioned why he continues to change his story. Alleged arsonist Thembiso Mdlalose once again altered his testimony yesterday during proceedings in the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court. He now claims he was not anywhere near the Usindiso building when the fire broke out 2 years ago, despite previously confessing to starting the blaze. The deadly inferno engulfed the 5-story hijacked building in August of 2023, claiming the lives of 76 people. Alfa Ramushwana was in court.
Just last week, Thembiso Mdlalose told the court that he was inside the Usindiso building when the fire broke out, but insisted he didn't start the blaze. Yesterday, Mdlalose, however, gave a different account, claiming he was sleeping under a bridge when the building caught fire. Prosecutor Tami Mpekane asked Mdlalose if he realizes that by constantly changing his version of events, he's affecting his own case.
Remember, the reason that you're testifying, you must try and convince the court that to believe you, to take your version as the truth.
Mdlalose stormed out of the courtroom when the prosecutor questioned him about his contradictory statements. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News in Palm Ridge.
We shift our focus to the Western Cape now, where 3 more people have been killed in a suspected gang-related shooting in Cape Town. The men were killed in Mitchell's Plain last night. Gang-related violence has claimed dozens of lives in the Cape Flats in the recent weeks. The rising death toll even prompted a visit by Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia and National Commissioner Fani Masemula last week. They met with the city and provincial authorities and vowed to do more to end a decades-long problem in Cape Town. Here's police spokesperson Novella Potelo.
Reports indicate that gunmen traveling in a vehicle shot at the 3 deceased persons and later fled. It is believed that the incident is gang-related. No arrests have been effected yet.
And the United Nations Security Council is set to vote on the latest call for a ceasefire in Gaza today. The vote is also expected to cover a call for increased humanitarian access to Gaza. These are both calls supported by a majority of Security Council members, despite repeated U.S. vetoes. The United States has already rejected proposed approaches multiple times, most recently in June when it used a veto to back its ally Israel. For the first time on Tuesday, a UN-mandated international commission accused Israel of committing genocide in Gaza. Gold is trading at $3,658.09 an ounce. The rand is at 17.43 to the dollar.